$750 off every door. Just text FOG to 200-300 for your free consultation on top quality affordable windows or patio doors for $0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for a year. That's right, you don't pay a dime for an entire year. Text FOG to 200-300 right now to save $375 off every window and $750 off every door. But hurry, these big dollar savings won't last long. Text FOG to 200-300. Don't wait. Text the word FOG to 200-300. Text FOG to 200-300.
Doug. With Liberty Mutual, you can customize and save hundreds on your car insurance. But what to buy with those savings? Yep, I bought a sound effects machine.
Only pay for what you need at LibertyMutual.com. Savings may vary. Underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company and affiliates. Excludes Massachusetts.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Looking for a new Ford? Winter Ford has the vehicle for you. Choose from our large selection of new F-150s, Explorers, Escapes, and Bronco Sports today. Winter Ford also takes care of you after the sale. Stop in their service department with no appointment necessary. Call 800-428-4000 for offer details. Visit in person or online at winterford.com. Winter Ford, people you trust, service and value you'll love.
Virtua Health is here for you, all of you. Here for the run-of-the-mills, the out-of-the-blues. Here for everything in between. And with our Rowan University partnership, we're here, rethinking the way academic medicine feels. Welcome to a more convenient, smarter healthcare experience. And that's more good for everyone. Find a Virtua physician or location near you at virtua.org. Virtua Health, now more than ever, here for good.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. Question for you. How many healthcare providers do you know who schedule downtime in their offices for team training? Not many. But my good friend, dentist and board-certified prosthodontist Dr. Robert Bentz does that because he wants to ensure that he and his staff are well-versed in all the latest technology, so when he invests in new state-of-the-art equipment for his patients, he can rest assured that he and his staff can maximize the performance of the new technology. One of their latest investments is the Trios 5 scanner. Talk about amazing. The Trios 5 has an incredible design which reduces the potential for patients gagging or experiencing discomfort during the impression-taking process. Plus, the process is much faster, which saves Dr. Bentz and his patients precious time. The scans are done, the plan is made, and the on-site lab gets to work. Dr. Bentz and his staff are a well-oiled machine when it comes to your comprehensive dental care. They're always working to make that experience as comfortable and as seamless as it can be. Visit them at bentzdentalgroup.com.
Extraordinary awaits when you open up yourself to a world of possibilities with the 150-year-old Heradora tequila. Made with unmatched care and aged to perfection, Heradora tequila has the sophisticated taste to make any moment extraordinary. Heradora tequila, available at your local PA Fine Wine and Good Spirits store. Please enjoy Heradora tequila responsibly. Alcohol 40% by volume, 80 proof. Heradora tequila, imported by Brown-Forman, Louisville, Kentucky.
WPHT, WPHT-HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. Always live on the free Odyssey app. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Live and local from Philadelphia. Free speech lives here. It's Kayal and Company on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
And away we go. Live on this Tuesday, September 19th. It is indeed Kayal and Company here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Always live on the free Odyssey app and, of course, streaming live for your video viewing pleasure on YouTube. As we head until 10 o'clock this morning, 855-839-1210, the phone number, Twitter and Instagram, the radio station at 1210 WPHT. I am at Nick Kayal. Don Stenslin with the news, Greg Stocker, the chairman of the board, Daniel Valdez, Anthony Dorenzo, our associate producers. Action-packed show today. Looking forward to it. Weather should be better than yesterday. Dawn, good morning. How are you?
Good morning.
Gregory.
I've decided to eliminate the dress code here at WPHT, Nick, just for you.
I never adhered to it anyway.
You wear flip-flops every day, so I've decided that flip-flops will be fine here in the workplace, even though we're in an office, just for you.
Thank you very much,
No
Chuck
problem.
Schumer.
But much like the United States Senate and Fetterman, all the other staffers still have to adhere to the dress code.
Exactly.
That's correct. Rules for thee, but not for me.
All you need to do is claim mental health.
That's right.
And you can do whatever you want.
You're damn right. What a show we have today. A harsh reality for Republicans coming up in the Big Take. As we mentioned, John Fetterman's fashion impacting the Senate. We'll get to that. Philadelphia to ditch the banned supervised drug sites. What a crazy concept. You can't pack your own lunch and bring it to work, folks, basically. Writer strike drama, and also Donovan McNabb joins a conservative outlet.
What?
I'm not even sure he knows it's a conservative outlet. He might find out eventually, but you never know with number 5. So we got a lot of good stuff to get to. But before the Big Take, 6:04 Tuesday morning, let's get the news, round number 1. And for that, we give you the great Dawn Stensland.
And good morning. We are sponsored this morning in Kayal & Company News Live by Yaza Auto Group. So in the news this morning, and there's a whole lot, we have a police officer in Pennsylvania hospitalized last night following a crash, and this happened in Bucks County, Pennsylvania. This was Route 1 southbound, right near Route 13. The officer was actually helping a disabled driver when the crash happened. Somebody slammed into that vehicle while the officer was trying to help the person. So the corporal, we're told, transported to an area hospital in stable condition this morning, but with head and neck injuries.
Oh, man.
So, the tough part of this job here, he's doing a good deed and on the job in the line of duty. And by the way, the driver of the striking vehicle was arrested for outstanding DUI warrants.
Shocking.
And a DUI suspended driver's license.
And was he inebriated at the time he hit the officer? Or do we not know?
I am not sure. They're not identifying the driver. They're not identifying the officer who's hospitalized this morning.
Well, there's a law that when you see something on the side of the road like that, you have to move over.
Move over, slow down, pay attention, put your phone down. Yeah. I'm always concerned when I see the officer on the driver's side of the vehicle that's pulled over, like 6 feet from the right lane of passing vehicles. I almost wish, and maybe they do, and maybe there's a rule, but I almost wish that the officer would go to the passenger side so he's like out of harm's way.
Sometimes they do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
I was pulled over one time on 276, and the cop came around on the
other side.
Yeah.
In other news, boy, what a passionate meeting, let's say, with Chester County residents speaking out face-to-face last night following last month's prison escape that led to that 14-day manhunt searching for a convicted killer who was on the loose and then ultimately stole a rifle, so he was armed and dangerous throughout the community. So last night's town hall, we know that there's another one scheduled for Wednesday. It was a chance for residents there who live near the Chester County Prison to get some answers, or might I say, demand some answers. So people wanting to know how this happened. They did not know that such dangerous individuals were being held right there. They thought that this was not a max security prison. So asking for answers. And, oh, by the way, the individual, Danilo Cavalcante, the convicted killer, an escapee who was also here in this country illegally.
Mm-hmm.
So many questions surrounding why this guy was in the country in the first place.
Yep. To this day, I still want to know how he goes unaccounted for, unnoticed from escaping Chester County for 54 minutes. That is the number one question for me. Where was all the security? Where were the eyes in the sky? How do you let a guy gone for an hour before anybody realizes it?
And his victim, by the way, had a protective order against him for about a year before he actually murdered her. So Deb Ryan, the district attorney there, she had every opportunity to deport this guy.
That's correct.
So many questions continue, and we continue to follow it. So there was some kind of an altercation at a North Philadelphia gas station that we have talked about here on Kayal & Company. And this altercation, though, ended with an armed security guard who was hired by the gas station actually firing a gunshot. It's the Carco gas station, Broad and Clearfield Streets, and it happened yesterday. This was 5 o'clock yesterday, so this was not in the dark. It was still bright out, and police say that a 39-year-old man approached that security guard with a big chunk of concrete about the size of a softball. And so they were involved in a little chat, apparently, a little verbal altercation over there. And that's when the 39-year-old suspect, holding this huge concrete, chunk rock, threw it at the security guard. The guard fired one shot. Nobody was hit. The guard was not hit by the rock. I guess he ducked, but it was more of a warning shot.
Yeah.
So police arrested the rock-throwing guy for simple assault and reckless endangerment.
That's because that's what we do in a civilized society is we pick up chunks of concrete and throw it at officers.
So also at the airport, Transportation Secretary Administration, TSA officers say every once in a while, they'll release kind of a whopper of something that happens with the TSA. So the officers say they stopped a flight attendant from boarding a plane. Why? Well, she was carrying her handgun, Philadelphia International Airport. So they say the worker is actually from Arizona, was arrested at a security checkpoint after the handgun was discovered. This 2 weeks after TSA arrested a worker at a PHL concession stop who also tried to bring a gun through security. So far this year, they say that they have found 31 guns they've confiscated from various individuals. This one, though, I don't know that they've had many that were flight attendants.
I'm assuming he just forgot that they were carrying it with them, or maybe it was intentional for safety purposes despite it not being allowed.
Yeah, they're not really giving us an explanation as of yet.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Maybe this one was coming from Arizona.
Yeah.
Heard it was Philadelphia. I don't know.
I would recommend it. Yeah, if you're coming, if anybody's coming from outside of Philadelphia and you want to come here, bring your handguns. You're going to need them as long as they're lawful.
We do have an update on beloved and legendary former Phil's manager, Charlie Manuel, who he's out of the ICU after that stroke and some surgery. And so we do have reports that he's improving and his family by his side. So thank goodness. And the family just thanking all of you, all of Philadelphia and the country for prayers.
That guy's beloved.
Oh, so we're so thrilled to hear that he's out of the ICU. What a great sign. And what a way to kick off the last regular season series with the Braves. Phillies, man, they just bashed the Braves. 5 home runs, including a huge home run from Kyle Schwarber, and 7-1 win over Hotlanta, which was not so hot.
No, they were not. Phillies cooled them off, and now they have they picked up a half game, so they have a 4-game lead for the top wild card spot.
What's the magic number now? 7, 8?
8.
8, is it? Okay.
I only know that because Davey Ram was saying it on our sister station.
On the way in? Yeah.
No, just now, just a minute ago.
Oh, okay.
That's great.
He said 8.
Yeah.
Great minds think alike.
Mm-hmm.
So, also, I should say, what's tonight's, I apologize, tonight's game, I believe 7:30. So, we continue against the Braves, losers. So, that's some good news that we can end.
Losers, they clinched them. Okay.
Just keep beating them. Beat them now. Beat them again.
They're one of the best teams in baseball.
You are not brave.
Beat them in October.
We're not the best anymore.
I love seeing Atlanta sports fans have to deal with misery and disappointment.
Yes.
But you're not bitter.
No. I just have seen them experience it firsthand.
Yeah.
We are sponsored this morning by Piazza Auto Group. Visit Piazza Volkswagen of Ardmore and Langhorne to test drive that 2023 Volkswagen Atlas, Atlas Cross Sport, Tiguan, much more. You can shop online, piazzavw.com today. And we thank you to our sponsor of this first news of the morning, this Tuesday, as Greg Stocker says, morning. Thank you, Piazza Auto Group.
All right, Don, thank you very much. 6:12 on this Tuesday morning. Let's get to another Big Take.
The Big Take on Kayal and Company.
All right, the Big Take this morning. Tick-tock goes the clock on the GOP. Yesterday on Kayal and Company, we centered the Big Take around the Joe Biden impeachment inquiry, and we linked that with how the results of the GOP-led House investigation could have major consequences on whether or not Donald Trump wins the 2024 election. But today, it's time to come clean and say what needs to be said about another key deciding factor to next year's presidential race, that being TikTok. Yes, TikTok, the home of mental health breakdowns that make its way onto What's on the Cut Sheet at 7:45 multiple times a week? Yes, that TikTok. The absurd app that usually features members of the LGBTQ plus community decked out in purple hair, nose rings, pontificating on their bed about their views on 14 genders, society, and other strange subjects. You know I hate TikTok. I want it banned. I don't want my kids on it. I don't want China having access to our information. If Nick Kayal ran the world, that stinking app would be tossed into the Schuylkill by now. But it matters when it comes to the 2024 presidential election, whether I like it or not, and whether you like it or not. Allow me to explain. Last Wednesday, September the 13th, Vivek Ramaswamy tweeted the following, quote, had dinner with Jake Paul, American comedian, actor, and UFC fighter, the brother of WWE's Logan Paul, who also has a highly consumed podcast. And he changed my mind and convinced me to join TikTok. Yes, kids under age 16 shouldn't be using it, but the fact is that many young voters are, and we're not going to change this country without winning. We can't just talk about the importance of the GOP reaching young voters while hiding in our own echo chambers. It's bad when the CCP collects data from U.S. servers via TikTok, but the truth is it's no better when American companies like Airbnb do the same by handing over U.S. user data to China, and we're not going to get China to play by the same set of rules until we win this thing. I'll be on TikTok starting later today. That's a really strong statement, as well as an accurate statement by the Republican presidential hopeful Vivek Ramaswamy. I, too, will be on TikTok later today as well. I'm joking. Stalker would kill me. But facts matter, and facts over feelings. Here's a tweet from Philadelphia native Greg Price, who is a social media influencer from a conservative perspective, and he said the following. Like it or not, Vivek is right. TikTok is the 5th most used social media app in America. Twitter is 10th, and by far the most used among Gen Z. Democrats are using it 24/7 to push their propaganda. I'm on TikTok, and I wish more conservative creators were, because we will not counter the left-wing narrative if we don't engage where most of Gen Z is getting their information. Again, Greg is 100% correct. How in the world does the Republican Party expect to win in 2024, 28, 32, and beyond if they don't start thinking in a forward fashion? I'm not saying you got to change your beliefs or the policies you want implemented. I'm talking about using every tool at your disposal to earn a victory. Here are some Bidenomics compared to Trumpnomics. Under Trump in January of 2021, gas was $2.39 a gallon. Today, under Joe Biden, gas is $3.87 a gallon. Gen Z uses gas, right? Gen Z has no money, right? Don't you think they'd like to save $1.48 per gallon on gas? I think they would. But how in the world will they know if the GOP isn't on TikTok sharing that information and doing it in a relatable fashion to the youths of today? Under Trump, groceries went up 2% in his first 30 months. Under Biden, groceries have gone up 20% in his first 30 months. How about the CPI, Consumer Price Index? With Trump, plus 1.9%. With Biden, plus 7.4%. And the CPI overall, with Trump, plus 6%. With Joe, plus 17%. And speaking of Gen Z, here's a headline in the New York Post. Half of young Americans are not enthused about voting in 2024. Here's an excerpt. Voting, Gen Z isn't interested. Many young Americans are unenthusiastic about voting in the 2024 presidential election, and more than half of them said they would even seriously consider voting a third-party candidate, a warning sign for President Biden and Democrats who rely on the youth vote to win national races, a new survey found. Biden led a generic Republican nominee 44% to 32% amongst 1,568 registered voters and potential voters aged 18 to 34, according to the poll conducted by American University's Institute for Policy and Politics. Republicans are losing to a corpse who barely has a pulse and letting the future slip through their hands, potentially, all because, or in part because, they're not on TikTok. It would be political malpractice not to change course. Add that to your repertoire. And it could very well be the death of your own party. Even the New York Times knows that Joe Biden is cooked. Last Wednesday, the New York Times published a column by Ross Douthat suggesting that Biden's decline will mean Trump win in 2024. Ross said the following in his article: I do not think Biden's decline is overstated by the media. By some Republicans, maybe, but the mainstream press is, if anything, treading gingerly around the evident reality. And it is super simple. The clock is ticking on the Republican Party. Tick-tock, tick-tock. Will the GOP answer, or will they incompetently run out of time? Let's hope not. And that's the big take.
The Big Take on Kayal and Company.
All right, big take this morning. If you want to jump in, thoughts, reactions, always welcome at 855-839-1210 on Twitter and Instagram at 1210WPHT. And, of course, on YouTube. Just go to youtube.com/@1210WPHT. Hit the like and subscribe buttons and be a part of the Kayal and Company comment community. We'll get thoughts and reactions to that on the other side, as well as a big-time donation with social media to one party. And also, one young Dem flips to Republican, and he tells you why. You'll hear that when we come back. It's Kayal and Company, live here on a Tuesday morning. Nick, Dawn, and Greg on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
It seems like a lifetime since the Eagles played last. Last Thursday, they don't play again until Monday night against Tampa Bay. They're at Tampa Bay. The spread right now is a 5.5. Eagles minus 5.5. I would take the spread on that. Also, the over-under sitting at 46. I think I like the over on that one. Snap into action this NFL season with FanDuel, a partnership with Valley Forge Casino. It's America's #1 sports book. Right now, new customers get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place a $5 bet. That's $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. If you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, there's no better time to get in on the action than right now. I love the FanDuel app. The app is so easy to use. There's a wide range of betting options, including spreads, like I just mentioned, player props, over-unders, so much more. You can combine them all together for a same-game parlay where you take little bets and combine them all together to get one big payout. Visit FanDuel.com/Greg right now and kick off the NFL season. FanDuel is the official partner of the NFL and is the official partner of 1210 WPHT. 21 and over, present in PA. First online real money wager, only $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms of sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Do you have heart failure and often hear,
"Those stomach issues ruined your birthday"?
You're too tired to play catch, Grandpa.
Sweetie, you haven't touched your tools since the carpal tunnel syndrome diagnosis.
If these seemingly unrelated symptoms sound familiar, talk to your cardiologist. Ask about transthyretin amyloid cardiomyopathy, or ATTR-CM, a rare and underdiagnosed disease that gets worse over time. Learn more at connecttoyourheart.com. That's connecttoyourheart.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
When your people are ready, your business is ready. Cintas makes sure they have what they need to perform their best. Whether it's freshly laundered work apparel for almost any job imaginable, fire protection systems that are tested and inspected, first aid and safety supplies, floor mats, or cleaning tools and restroom products, stocked and ready when you need them. Better work days happen together, so visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Hey, this is Norman Chaikin, also known as Norman the Floorman. I was running a dating service for chickens, but I was struggling to make hens meet. No kidding, folks. Whether you need carpet for your home or business, whether it's your boardroom, bedroom, or investment property, I've got just the thing at half price. Whether you visit my showroom on Lancaster Avenue in Bryn Mawr or my warehouse in Conshohocken, you'll save big. Call me at 1-800-220-RUGS. That's Norman Carpet, 1-800-220-RUGS, or visit us at normancarpet.net.
Listen this Saturday as Penn State battles Iowa. Coverage starts at 7 p.m. on the home of Penn State football. Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app.
Welcome to Bob's.
Is this Blake dining set real wood?
Yes, in 3 classic finishes.
And?
It comes with 6 chairs or 4 and storage bench.
And?
You can get it in dining or counter heights.
And?
It's rated 5 stars.
And?
It's $5.99 no matter what you choose.
And?
We can have it in your home by Sunday dinner.
Oh my, Bob.
When you don't have to compromise on style, quality, or price, there's only one thing to say.
Oh, my Bob!
Bob's Discount Furniture.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. If your child needs support, special tutoring, and custom instruction, METC is here to help. Now's the time to call to Kathy Gannon, METC. Call the Motivational Educational Tutoring Company for over 30 years. METC's tutoring studio, founded by educator Kathy Gannon, has helped people of all ages to grow personally and academically. Call Kathy at 215-493-4200. METC offers motivational SAT prep as well as academic skills and leadership training. 215-493-4200. Now's the time to get assistance. For your child to help them succeed, all you have to do is visit online at METC.com. METC's tutoring studio. Call them today, 215-493-4200, or email Kathy directly, info@METC.com. Remember, 1210 listeners receive a free 1-hour consultation. Take advantage of this opportunity to help your child get one-on-one help. 215-493-4200, 215-493-4200.
Looking for a new Ford? Winter Ford has the vehicle for you. Choose from our large selection of new F-150s, Explorers, Escapes, and Bronco Sports today. Winter Ford also takes care of you after the sale. Stop in their service department with no appointment necessary. Call 800-428-4000 for offer details. Visit in person or online at winterford.com. Winter Ford, people you trust, service and value you'll love.
Doug. With Liberty Mutual, you can customize and save hundreds on your car insurance. But what to buy with those savings? Yep, I bought a sound effects machine.
Only pay for what you need at LibertyMutual.com. Savings may vary. Underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company and affiliates. Excludes Massachusetts.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Calling on Blackwood to follow 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
.25, Kayal and Company, as we continue on live this morning, Tuesday morning. Nick, Dawn, and Greg, Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Get us on the free Odyssey app. Watch us live on YouTube. You know, yesterday we talked about some of the local stories here with the drag racing in Philadelphia shutting down streets, and also a local cheesesteak shop hiring armed security. I got Fox News on in the studio, and Fox and Friends are discussing that Philly cheesesteak story as they hire armed guards on national television. So good to see once again our city in a great light. Boy, I want to, you know, I've heard about that. Every time I watch TV, I hear about Rocky, and I hear about the cheesesteak. So you want me to come to your city and get a steak, and oh, by the way, watch somebody with a rifle protecting me.
Yep.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
There we go.
Great.
Love it. So interesting with the big take this morning with TikTok, because, and we'll get some thoughts and reaction to that here. You know, when I think about how Republicans can win in 2024, I think about like the most basic of things. All right, the right candidate, the right messaging. We'll put that kind of like in one little box. And then like your main focal bullet points that you want to talk about, the economy. You need to hammer that home day after day. The economy with Trump versus the economy with Biden. And then underneath that, abortion, your messaging on that, post Roe v. Wade. And then the border and the crime issues. I think that's kind of the nuts and bolts from a topical standpoint. And, of course, you've got the Biden GOP impeachment, you know, Kevin McCarthy, Comer, Jim Jordan heading that up. That was kind of the feature of the big take yesterday and how that could impact Trump and, you know, whether Republicans will continue to believe in the people they elect or if this is just a song, dance, and a charade again. But then there are the other tools out there that you can use to ensure a victory or at least boost your probability and increase your odds. Taking advantage of mail-in balloting like Democrats do, ballot harvesting, and as we mentioned here this morning in the big take, TikTok. Vivek Ramaswamy, he doesn't want to be on TikTok. He's on TikTok because he listened to somebody younger that made it a very apparent point that, hey, your party needs to utilize that app if you want the Daniel Valdez's of the world. You better get there. Because if not, you might have all the facts and the better policy and all the smoking guns on Joe Biden, and you can say, well, $4 a gallon versus $2.80 a gallon. It's not going to matter if nobody knows. What's the old adage? If a tree falls in the forest and nobody hears it, did it really fall? That's where I feel like we are right now, Dawn, with the young generation. If we don't connect with them in the ways that they consume stuff, then we're going to lose. I think it's a harsh reality, and I hate TikTok.
Yeah, and the truth is, if you have teenagers, even kids as young as 9, especially, but teenagers and early 20s, they're just on there
All day.
Yeah,
all day.
I love TikTok.
We highlight it on the cut sheet.
Yeah,
having these meltdowns. And for the ones that aren't going through the mental health breakdowns, that's where they get their news. They might see a story about Joe Biden or Jalen Hurts or whatever it is, because all they're doing is going left to right and looking at videos and discarding them. And in 3 seconds, their attention span is gone and they're on to the next thing. But maybe you can capture a few that way. I'm not saying you're going to win Gen Z over, but if it's a close election, it's a close race, every vote, swing states, all this stuff, it matters.
I'm going to sound really old when I say this, but the 1992 presidential election, George H.W. Bush, Bill Clinton, Ross Perot. I think a lot of my generation, and when I meant my generation, I mean people older than me because I was only 12 at the time, but I think a lot of the younger generation first saw Bill Clinton on the Rock the Vote thing on MTV, where he basically did a town hall. He was the first president to really embrace MTV and be like, you know what, this is where the kids are, the quote unquote kids are.
The Gen Xers.
The Gen Xers. I need to reach this audience. I'm sure he didn't want to go on MTV. Well,
maybe he did.
Yeah, there's a lot of hot chicks there.
He did have a thing for college interns.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is that was a very smart move by him to reach out to the younger generation at the time. And you look at TikTok now as this generation's MTV.
Yeah. I'm only on Twitter, and we know.
Can we stop getting our news from Twitter?
Greg doesn't like that. No. But Twitter is only the 10th most consumed social media app. TikTok is the 5th most. So there's a untapped market out there for Republicans. And honestly, in 2023, with all the information, with all the technology, everything about 2023 is about accessibility, convenience, a la carte. I'll get this when I want to get it, how I want to get it, on demand. I mean, you've never had more tools at your disposal to get your message out. And the fact that you would ignore certain apps or certain demographics, and Dawn, you mentioned this, Republicans, they don't even bother coming to Philadelphia. What a surprise. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris coming back to Philadelphia for a 13th time. The fact that you just dismiss certain things, and then once the game is over, scratch your head or complain or angry that you lost and you're not sure why. We're telling you why. All you have to do it. You just got to get it done.
Yes, and I think so with kids in my life, I always say to them, let's look up TikTok and what this is all about. And hey guys, how come in China, with the most popular app in the world, they don't let kids under a certain age, I think 14, they can only go on so much time, but also the algorithms are different. In China, TikTok promotes science, educational, historical content. And so basically, they're making us all stupid with dance and animal videos, which are entertaining, true, but they don't let their kids or teens or young people even watch that garbage.
Right.
And so for me as a parent, I don't know how everybody else talks to their kids. I just always give them the facts because they're now teenagers, and I say, look at this true story. Check it out. Check out what they're doing in China. And why do you think that is?
Yeah.
And so I just try to arm them with that information.
Yep.
And then every once in a while, it's not like they're addicted to it, and they're busy with sports and jobs and school and all that kind of stuff.
Extracurriculars.
Yeah, but the point is, I do think that we have to be smarter. And so I know that Vivek Ramaswamy has some pretty strict views about social media, and restricting younger kids under 14, 13.
Yep.
But I do think as parents, it's up to us to limit this because look at the algorithms, especially with girls. I mean, you have twin little girls coming into this age, and man, social media on girls is brutal.
Well, I mean, I sit there with my daughters. They have Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, and TikTok. And there'll be times, like even like 2 summers ago, where Mia would be dancing in front of her phone. I'm like, are you mimicking something you see on YouTube? She goes, no, I'm recording a dance for TikTok. I'm like, all right, it's enough.
Oh, God.
I'm like, you dance 5 days a week, 25 hours a week. It's like another job for you in addition to going to school as a 3rd grader. No, you're done.
Oh, she's dude,
it's
you
awful.
You got to put your foot down, bro.
I've tried. I've tried to put both feet down. Then I slip and fall, and I get stuck in mud, and yeah, I get mud on my face from it the whole bit.
It's not right.
Yeah, and I don't want them on it. I really, really don't. But I know Daniel Valdez has some thoughts on I think TikTok here in Gen Z. So go ahead, Valdez.
A lot of my feed specifically is a lot of right-leaning libertarian stuff. It's not just all mentally ill stuff that we play on the show.
Well, you're I think you're in the minority though. So you're getting that type of stuff. Whereas I think probably 9 out of 10 Gen Z users are not looking at right-leaning libertarian viewpoints, right? It's usually left. It's usually entertainment. It's usually mind-numbing stuff. And Dawn, you make a good point with getting the kids off of the apps and stuff like that. But we just gave the story last Friday that a study has shown us results and findings that parents are spending more time on their devices than they are with their own children. So if dad is buried in a YouTube video and going down a rabbit hole for 45 minutes, odds are the kid is probably doing the same thing or on another app.
Yeah, you're exactly right.
So it's like it starts with the parents and it works its way down to the kids, right? Everybody's just nothing worse than being in a living room with your family and everybody's all staring at their phones.
That's the worst. Yeah. It's the absolute worst.
It's the de-evolution of family and society.
Now, Sundays when the NFL's on,
well,
I steal the TV away from my 3-year-old and I let him watch SpongeBob or whatever on my iPad.
And if you're checking your bets, that's we all understand that.
But aside from that, I agree with you, Daniel. What did you mean when you said that all of it's there, people just don't see it? Are
so
they
like everything
throttling the algorithms or
TikTok
something?
is a wide variety of stuff. It's just not going to show up on your feed unless you like that specific type of video, and then it's going to give you an algorithm that gives you that kind of stuff that you like so you can see it.
That's how Twitter is now as well. I mean, as I switched careers, I don't see many things on my Twitter timeline that are sports related from sports people I follow. I'll open up Twitter after my nap, and it's literally eight Republicans and 7 conservatives and 6 conservative websites all putting out the same thing. Biden stumbles over this. Fetterman said what? And it's like I'm just reading the same stuff over and over from everybody that's kind of just recycling it. So they are rigged based on what you consume. It like picks up on your habits, and that's what it gives you. It's actually a lot like why DuckDuckGo is such a good app, because you're getting tracked and they're spying on you, and you don't want to see that stuff keep popping up when you go somewhere else, right?
Yeah, it's so true. For me, it's why I have different, I mean, I know I have too many of them, and Greg teases me about this all the time, but in truth, if you have different emails, different sites that you use DuckDuckGo, then you'll be exposed to all this different content. And like Daniel says, you do fuel your own feed. And so then it's a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yep.
But I think as far as kids, the best thing we can do for, kids and each other is just continue the conversation with educating one another. But this is up to us, and we're all getting played.
Yep.
And our kids are getting played.
Yes, indeed.
Secret Squirrel on the YouTube chat says the truth is if Nick saw what is really there, he would be hooked on TikTok for current events.
Really? For current events?
Daniel, do you agree with that?
100%.
Wow.
It has a lot of current events, a lot of true crime stuff. There's everything's up. Like this whole Danilo Cavalcante thing, everyone was talking about it on TikTok, and we really didn't see anything of it. So it's really good for current events.
Okay. I would have figured Lauren Boebert would have played better on TikTok than Danilo Cavalcante, but I guess I'm wrong.
No, right. I think there's diverse content. You just have to. I still think you have to limit it, because otherwise, it's just that rabbit hole.
Yeah.
that you never come up for air.
Yeah. And then lastly, when it comes to this TikTok conversation with Republicans and the GOP and, trying to get the Gen Z voter, this is a very interesting little tidbit. It's not a surprise, but just recently, George Soros gave another $300,000
I saw that.
to the network of TikTok activists to praise Joe Biden and push ultra-left ideas on young voters.
If you're on that side of the aisle, it's very smart.
Yep.
It's very smart.
Soros, 93, said to have given at least $300,000 to help a left-wing group share praise for Biden on social media. The nonprofit, previously known as TikTok for Biden, believes in abolishing the border. They believe in this stuff, folks.
Abolishing the border?
Abolishing the border, defunding the police, amongst other policies. And they have previously been invited to the White House to witness the signing of the Inflation Reduction Act. So this is what the Dems are doing. They're pushing their message out there. They've got big money, and we see what happens when George Soros is involved. Defund the police, prosecutors that don't prosecute, city commissioners and mayors that abolish bail. I mean, we're living in it right here in Philadelphia. So you got to figure it out.
But they have to. So I think especially when you're a kid, the worst thing that can happen is that you're told, but this takes money. You're told, hey, this guy, see this dude, this rich dude, he paid these, these influencers that you think are cool, they're being paid by this guy. They're puppets.
Yep.
Put it out there.
Yep.
But if you do ads like that, then it takes a lot of money. But Republicans, you're right. I mean, to Vivek Ramaswamy's point, the Republicans have to get smart. The GOP has to get smart, create the ads, create the content, and put it out there, but just push for transparency.
And also, if you bring up George Soros in any context, the liberals will always say, "Oh, it's an anti-Semitic dog whistle."
Yeah, I know.
You're just saying, "quote unquote," Jewish people are running everything.
Right,
you know what I mean?
right.
Because of his ethnicity or whatever.
Yeah.
But it is
his money's dictating a lot of things.
But if you really look at money he's spending, yes, he is. To Dawn's thought, he is a puppet master as far as all this stuff goes. He has an agenda that he wants to see push forward, and he will break his bank. He doesn't really have to break his bank because he has billions of dollars, but he will spend all the money he needs to get it done.
And here's the worst part of it. When we talk about TikTok and doing young, influential things and the Dems doing it better, it's so odd because the Republicans collectively feel like the younger, fresher party right now. We've talked about term limits and age maximums for politicians over the last 3 or 4 weeks on this show. And the party that's using TikTok better is the party of Dianne Feinstein, 90, Nancy Pelosi, 83, Joe Biden, 81, John Fetterman, completely unfunctional. I mean, they're the ones taking advantage of the stuff that, if you look at the Republicans based on age and functionality, they're the ones that should be capitalizing it on this.
Yeah,
well, here's the deal. A lot of the people from the left hire management companies, and then those management companies hire young influencers to promote the left-leaning agenda and all that kind of stuff. So they're getting paid to promote that kind of stuff.
Yeah, to Daniel's point, it reminds me of Game of Thrones with the old Meisters, and they're very elderly. But who did they have all across the entire village and whatever? They had little kids.
Yep.
The little birds, right? They hired them all, had them all on the payroll.
That's correct.
And ultimately had them kill people.
Yep.
So it almost goes back to ancient times.
You're right. 855-839-1210 is the number. You can get in on social media at 1210 WPHT or a part of the Kayal and Company comment community on YouTube. Coming up next, Chuck Schumer says, you know what? The dress code that we had for the Senate, it's time to abolish that, all because of one man. We'll get to that when we come back, as well as John Fetterman and humping.
What?
Yes.
Oh, gosh.
John Fetterman. You thought Lauren Boebert was out of control.
Oh, no.
Wait till you hear Fetterman on MSNBC last night. We'll get to that as we continue Kayal and Company. Hour 1 wraps up next. Nick, Dawn, and Greg, Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Jalen, over here!
Harley, use your hands.
Why do you throw so hard, man? That hurts.
Hurts. Not as much as old Windows hurts your energy bills.
Or it hurts your home value.
Or hurts your wallet by paying too much.
Take it from Hertz and avoid the hurts. Call Window Nation.
And catch this great deal.
Get 50% off every style window, plus pay nothing for 2 full years. It never hurts to have the very best on your team.
Call Window Nation today. 866-90-NATION or windownation.com.
Call now!
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-700-6898. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-700-6898. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-700-6898. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-700-6898. 800-700-6898 or biglou.com.
Hi, it's Rich Zioli. I'm joined here today by my friend, the co-president and CEO of Cooper University Healthcare, the one and only Dr. Anthony Mazzarelli. Dr. Maz and I are here to tell you about our buddy, Dr. Mike Veneria. Not only is he my dentist, he's my family's dentist as well. And not sure if you knew this, he's Dr. Maz's dentist too.
That's right, Rich. Dr. Mike Veneria is and has been my dentist also. And you know, doctors choosing doctors, that can be quite a selective process. And not only do I go to him, but for years, my sister and my niece and my nephew, the whole family goes.
Well, it's no secret. We're all delighted by the care that Dr. Mike Veneria and his award-winning team provide, and you need to check him out.
Whether you're looking for pediatric, general, cosmetic, implant dentistry, you don't need to look any further. Dr. Veneria's office does everything. Dr. Veneria's office also exceeds all CDC guidelines and has always maintained the strictest infection control, like their centralized UV sterilization of airflow, which is incredibly important to me.
Locations are right over the bridge in Cinnaminson and Woodbury. Your perfect smile's waiting. Call 856-786-2020 or visit veneriadental.com.
You know, yesterday, it was such a great day. After work, I ran over. It was Davis football game. I love those afternoon, after-school football games and practices. By the way, they won, beating Penn Charter. Ha! But, you know, part of it is I would be so stressed out because I'm thinking, oh, no, we're going to get home about 5:45. Everybody's going to be starving. But, haha, my little secret, because thanks to whatacrock.com, I just stuck that meal in my slow cooker before the game, in between when I got home from work. And so when we all walked in the door after the long day at work, school, the game, dinner was simmering in my slow cooker. I mean, it was so delicious. Yesterday, it was the old-fashioned pot roast. So good, just the way my mom used to make it. But in this case, whatacrock.com, they make it. So how does it work? You get ready-made meals delivered to your doorstep, and then you just put that ready-made meal in the slow cooker in the morning, or in my case, it's in the afternoon, because of course I'm up at 3:40 a.m. So this is in between during the day. But dinner is always simmering, delicious, and my boys love it. The 3-bean chili, those chicken parm meatballs with the cheese surprise in the middle, so delicious. Their jambalaya is awesome. I could go on and on. The great news, too, we get to enjoy more time together at the kitchen table, and I don't have all that cleanup work either. Just use promo code WPHT for $10 off your first order. Ready-to-eat meals, whatacrock.com. They're homemade, just not by me. Delicious. Order now, whatacrock.com, and make sure you use promo code WPHT checkout to get that $10 off. Tell them Dawn sent you.
Hey, Paoli, we know your favorite station is Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Kayal and Company, 646 Tuesday morning. Hopefully all of you up to a great start wherever you may be going, heading into work, coming home from work. Nick, Dawn, and Greg, Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Get us on the free Odyssey app. Watch us on YouTube. What's on the cut sheet coming up 7:45. Another great prize this morning at 9:20 for our morning mystery movie clip. And, of course, 9:50, the Disney keyword. Be listening for that for your chance to win a free trip to Walt Disney World. Also, a couple of individuals yesterday tweeting us pictures of their new merchandise, their new apparel from the 1210 merch store, which, if you want, you can get to at our website, 1210wpht.com. There's a link to click on there, and you can get sweatshirts, T-shirts, coffee mugs. A lot of people starting to do a little early shopping. It's going to be hoodie season soon. It's going to be Fetterman season soon.
Yeah, exactly. I think it was our buddy Irk on Twitter who got the Zeoli Army shirt and the Kayal Company shirt for his birthday, which is nice. It makes good birthday gifts. Or can we say the C word soon?
What's the C word?
Christmas?
No, Christmas has been canceled this year, folks.
Oh, okay.
Some people are offended. Some can't afford it because of Bidenomics, so there'll be no Christmas this year.
Okay.
We'll just skip over that, folks.
A lot of people have already started their Christmas shopping.
I know.
And a lot of people, by that you mean you.
Yes, in this economy, you got to start now.
Yeah. Find those Amazon deals now and put it away and hide it for 2.5 months, right?
Greg knows me too well.
Uh-huh. You're a Christmas shopper in September, huh?
You know what?
They have a phone number for that, by the way.
No, I just think if you see something, especially during the summer with sales and whatnot.
Oh, of course.
Grab it, because then when they jack up the prices for, starting in November, you feel smart.
Yeah, I agree. 855-839-1210. Maybe we can send Fetterman a Kayal and Company hooded sweatshirt.
Oh.
I mean, it's right in his wheelhouse.
Can you imagine?
Yeah. Yeah, Fetterman's a big believer in free speech, despite every time he talks, nothing ever makes sense. But, we'll get Fetterman a hooded sweatshirt.
Yeah.
We should, record a little video of us packing it together and shipping it out, and we'll see if the senator receives it and returns the favor, and maybe gets back to us a little bit. Because now we're at the point in politics where dress code, decorum, professional attire, even putting functioning human beings into these roles, it doesn't matter anymore, folks. Yesterday, Chuck Schumer essentially ditched the Senate dress code. This is an unbelievable story, as Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, the Dem from New York, has, I guess, quietly directed the Senate's Sergeant-at-Arms to no longer enforce the chamber's informal dress code for its members. That, according to Axios. The new directive will allow Senator John Fetterman, who tends to favor gym shorts and hoodies. He's basically like Nick Kayal, except he's not doing a radio show and getting up at 4 in the morning. He's actually being paid by you to show up and be a senator representing Pennsylvania in the United States of America Senate. But, he loves the shorts. He loves the hoodies over the traditional business attire that's required in the chamber. And after further review, Chuck Schumer has decided to axe that. Quote, senators are able to choose what they wear on the Senate floor. I will continue to wear a suit, Schumer said in a statement. Fetterman, who, as we know, was elected last year, is a guy who typically does not wear professional attire. And I think they probably had to beg and plead and pander to him for that photo op way back when he got elected, and then he got out of Walter Reed for his depression treatment, and he was there with his wife and kids for that photo op appearance. Other than that, you very rarely see the guy in a suit. But I got to tell you, and look, this is coming from a guy who wears golf shorts, flip-flops, a golf polo, and a quarter zip most days.
Quarter zip.
I don't come in here looking like I'm getting ready to do a television show with Sean Hannity on Fox News. But this is kind of embarrassing that we would allow this. There's some positions where, come on, man. You know me, even on TV, I'm anti-sneakers with the suit.
Yeah.
There's certain things that I'm not trying to be like an old curmudgeon about things. It's just a fashion thing that I don't get. But this is not a fashion thing. I know Politico and Rolling Stone wanted to say Fetterman's the new political fashion icon. Cargos and Carhartts. This is the United States government here. Can we act the part, please?
I agree with you 100%. And I never used to be I used to laugh and scoff at the dress your part, dress the part, all that stuff.
Dress for the part that you want.
Yeah, exactly. I used to laugh at that, but now I agree with you, and maybe I'm being jaded because I despise Fetterman, but it is it's embarrassing.
He's just another fraud on so many levels. But the media, the mainstream, and Don, you always look at it from the media angle and how they're covering it. Mm-hmm. They adore it. They romanticize. They make him the lovable, big, cuddly. Well, he's just like you. He's the everyman. It's the same thing they try to give us with Joe Biden. The middle class Joe.
Yeah.
Joe hasn't qualified for the middle class in over 35 years.
It's so true.
It's just so
I mean, here's
embarrassing.
Fetterman, who mooched off of his parents. They essentially supported him.
As a Harvard graduate.
Until fairly recently. Yeah, put him through Harvard. And until he was what?
52?
50?
Yeah.
52?
Yep.
I mean, that's unthinkable.
It is.
So, and then he says, oh, you know, he's represents the working man. Nope.
His calendar's empty. His schedule is blank. He doesn't work.
Yeah.
Who exactly in the working class does he represent?
Yeah, I mean, look, you have to dress like it's the fact of life. You know what I mean? Like there's a reason people go on Wall Street and wear suits. You know what I mean? Like it's they don't wear that in their personal life, but it's it's the job, and you're representing the state of Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
When you're on that Senate floor, you're representing your constituents, and
well, maybe the constituents like it. I mean, they're the ones that
obviously
voted
they did.
him.
They voted for it.
Right. Right. I mean, maybe it was more than just whatever his messaging was. Maybe it was the appearance, it was the attire, it was the look. But maybe the big takeaway from all of this is, and maybe Matt DeSantis should realize this, if you go to Harvard and graduate from Harvard, you're going to be so in debt that you live with your parents until you're 50, despite that great degree you have hanging up on your wall.
Yeah.
Especially if you work in radio. 855-839-1210. But I want to play you this piece of audio. This was John Fetterman. I believe last night or 2 nights ago, he was on MSNBC.
It was last night.
It was last night. And he was rambling on and on about Republicans and what they claim to be and what the party's about. And then he starts talking about humping and tried to make some sort of analogy or throw out a cliche, and it didn't land, and it was very awkward. But then again, that's Fetterman. You take a listen to this.
How things have operated since that deal was a bipartisan deal was struck for certain top-line spending numbers for all of the funding bills that have to be passed to make the budget, keep the government running. The Senate has basically been delivering those and passing them by big 91-7 bipartisan majorities. The House today looks like it's falling apart. You've already got 17 no votes in that House Republican caucus saying we're not passing anything. What do you think's happening here?
Yeah, I was very proud of my colleagues, because they're really about governance. That's what it is. And on the other, the House, the whatever they call themselves, Team America or whatever they call themselves, I just like, bring your vote. Otherwise, they need to go hump a different leg.
You were in.
He had no idea what to say after that.
Otherwise, they got to go hump a different leg, which maybe Lauren Boebert will be humping a different leg later this week because apparently she's dumped the boyfriend. Did you see that story?
Yeah.
The poor guy. The poor guy did nothing wrong. She got her political career blown up, and once again the straight white cis male is to blame for everything.
Well, I think she is saying the opposite now, where it used to be the B set me up. Now it's the D set me up. Right? Wasn't that who was that? Dawn, was that Marion Barry who said the B set me up?
Right.
Yeah.
The B word set me up.
I did think it was weird that the guy, so he's a Democrat and a bar owner or whatever.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
But it was weird that she really took the fall for everything.
She did.
And nobody said anything about the guy.
No.
And so it would have.
And he was the one doing the feeling.
He was. Well, she's
a Democrat, so he's not guilty of anything.
I think she was groping for maybe a Whopper or something.
Whopper,
possibly
the Impossible
in his
Whopper,
lap.
like Greg Stocker had.
Yeah.
But but the truth is, it would have been kind of cool of him to say, "Hey, I apologize, and I meant no disrespect to my date or anybody in the theater.
Yep.
I thought it was a dark theater. I didn't know that they had, infrared cameras.
I know, that's still an amazing story, isn't it?
I know. I was blown away. I really was blown away by that.
Yep.
I did not know that, and I'm glad to know it. But I also feel like theaters should post that somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
You are on infrared cameras.
Yes.
Recording.
Before you cop a field, just know we will see it. That's what I would put up.
Or bringing booze into the theater.
Yes, which I've done in Tennessee. By the way, in Tennessee, they had, and I don't think they had this in Pennsylvania before I moved to Tennessee. They sell liquor and alcohol at movie theaters in Tennessee, and they've done that for a long time.
They do here too.
Okay, I noticed that once I came back, but prior to 2017, I don't ever remember seeing that here in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, it's there's the Movie Tavern, right, Dawn?
It started at Movie Tavern,
Yeah.
but now everybody does it.
Okay, there you
Not
go.
everybody, but a lot of places.
well, yeah, a lot.
Yeah.
Of, I should say a lot.
$14 for a mixed drink. Let's go. 855-839-1210, the number. Coming up next, we'll get hour number 2 underway. Dawn has some news. And then a local story here with drug-infested Philadelphia, the passing of a bill to ban the supervised drug sites that you see in places like Kensington. We'll get to that when we kick off hour number 2, coming up next here on Kayal & Company on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
This Philly sports season, the only action that matters is what happens on the field and what's on your plate. So when the game is over, let Gerhardt's tackle the cleanup so you can focus on celebrating the victory. Take home a Bosch stainless steel dishwasher for only $3.99. It's the quietest brand on the market, so you can set it post-game and forget it until the next pregame. Only at Gerhardt's Appliance, setting Philly sports fans up with the game day cleanup assist since 1945.
Virtua Health is here for you, all of you. Here for the run-of-the-mills, the out-of-the-blues. Here for everything in between. And with our Rowan University partnership, we're here, rethinking the way academic medicine feels. Welcome to a more convenient, smarter healthcare experience. And that's more good for everyone. Find a Virtua physician or location near you at virtua.org. Virtua Health, now more than ever, here for good.
Chronic pain, cancer, fatigue. Find out about the benefits of medical hydration therapy on Health Watch with Dr. Molly Fantasia every Sunday morning at 8 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Lose weight and feel great with NJ Diet. NJ Diet uses DNA and blood work to help you lose weight and keep it off. Tune into the radio show Sunday at 2 or visit njdiet.com.
For a complete list of Talk Radio 1210 WPHT's contest rules, go to 1210WPHT.com/rules.
WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3 Philadelphia. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Do you have heart failure and often hear,
"Those stomach issues ruined your birthday"?
"You're too tired to play catch, Grandpa."
Sweetie, you haven't touched your tools since the carpal tunnel syndrome diagnosis.
if these seemingly unrelated symptoms sound familiar, talk to your cardiologist. Ask about transthyretin amyloid cardiomyopathy, or ATTR-CM, a rare and underdiagnosed disease that gets worse over time. Learn more at connecttoyourheart.com. That's connecttoyourheart.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
When your people are ready, your business is ready. Cintas makes sure they have what they need to perform their best. Whether it's freshly laundered work apparel for almost any job imaginable, fire protection systems that are tested and inspected, first aid and safety supplies, floor mats, or cleaning tools and restroom products, stocked and ready when you need them. Better work days happen together, so visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
At Cherry Hill Volvo, we are partnering again with our Costco members. Purchase a certified 2020, 21, or 22 XC40, XC60, or XC90 and receive an incredible additional discount up to $1,500 off. A discount added to the unbelievably already aggressive pricing at Cherry Hill Volvo. Join us for this special offer. Cherry Hill Volvo and Costco and you, perfect together.
Free speech lives here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
And on the free Odyssey app.
Kayal & Company, 7:01 as we kick off hour number 2, Tuesday morning. Nick, Dawn, Greg, Daniel, and Anthony. Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Get us on the free Odyssey app. Watch us on YouTube. Give us your criticisms, your complaints, your critiques, your comments. Start your own show in the chat. We don't care. Just get in there and hit all the buttons. Stalker wants you hitting buttons.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah.
Hit buttons.
Hit buttons. We push buttons.
Yeah, those YouTube chatters, they seem to really it takes on a life of its own.
They do.
You know?
They take pride in the community.
Yeah, they do.
A lot of good stuff coming up here in hour number 2.
But when a newbie comes in, they welcome them with open arms.
Oh, good. They don't haze them?
Yeah, it's really nice. They just haze us.
Oh.
And when I mean us, I mean basically you and I.
Yeah, pretty much.
Dawn somehow gets unscathed.
That's correct. Well, they don't want to take the wrath of the mama bear of the show. They know if Dawn gets worked up, they're toast.
Yeah.
Exactly, as they should be. They should be scared. Be very afraid.
YouTube.com/@1210WPHT. Hit the subscribe button. If you're watching right now, please hit the like button.
All right, cut sheet coming up at 7:45. Also, Elon Musk is kind of altering Twitter/X yet again. Donovan McNabb is going to be working for a conservative sports outlet. Not sure that McNabb knows that, but we'll get to that story. We got some writer strike drama with some talent reversing course. And I want to get to this Kensington drug story as well. But before we get to all of that, let's get the news. Round 2 on a Tuesday morning at 7:03. And for that, we give you the great Dawn Stensland.
And good morning this Tuesday morning, September 19th. We're at just 62 degrees this morning. I'll tell you when we heat up a little bit. Sponsored by United Tire this morning. So District Attorney Larry Krasner fighting to put a Philadelphia police officer behind bars while awaiting trial. This is Philadelphia officer Mark Dial. As you know, we had told you that he had turned himself into police, South Detectives Division, more than a week ago. And this was after DA Krasner charged him with first-degree murder. That's the charge facing this officer after he was seen on his body camera video fatally shooting 27-year-old Eddie Irizarry last month. So the officer now charged with first-degree murder, and this is a first, aggravated assault, as well as other offenses. And so now Krasner says they never let somebody charged with first-degree murder out on bail. They want to revoke that bail. So the FOP standing by and representing the officer and the officer's attorneys have said this is ridiculous. Mm-hmm. This officer certainly did not intend to murder anybody.
Nor is he a flight risk or anything else like that.
Exactly.
It's amazing how this guy doesn't get bail, despite what his actions might be. But yet, if you're not an officer and you fit a certain description, everybody doesn't have to post bail. We're in a bail. It's a bizarre bail world that we live in these days, Dawn.
Well, Dial facing 5 charges, including first-degree murder, voluntary manslaughter, aggravated assault, recklessly endangering another person, and official oppression. I've never heard of that.
Official oppression.
Yeah.
Oh, wait till the mainstream media gets wind of that term.
I've not heard of that charge.
I know.
That's one of the charges.
That'll be in their talking points moving forward for the left. Of official oppression.
Official oppression.
Yeah.
We've been updating you on the condition of a Bucks County and Morrisville police officer still hospitalized in stable but serious condition following that multi-vehicle crash. Happened last night, Route 1 southbound near Route 13 in Bucks County in the suburbs of Pennsylvania. So the officer helping a driver at the side of the road in a disabled vehicle, and that's when the corporal was struck by another vehicle driven by a driver who was driving with outstanding DUI warrants. A DUI suspended driver's license, should never have been on the road. So we're trying to get some new details on this one. But the officer, the driver, not identified at this point. We only know that the officer, in fact, is in stable condition, but with some serious head and neck injuries.
Well, I'll tell you what, if in fact the toxicology reports come back, and I'm assuming they took them, and it shows that he was under the influence of alcohol, giving his priors already, I mean, throw the book at that guy. I mean, that guy's a menace to people's public health and safety. Much less when it's an officer. It's always a different feel to it when it becomes an officer.
Well, they can just claim mental health or racism or reasons why he drinks.
Yes.
And he'll
tough childhood.
Yes.
Tough childhood, and he'll be freed.
Yep.
And,
won't be charged with murder.
Yeah.
Right. It's just terrible.
And, man, there was a lot of sounding off, a lot of passion, a lot of anger from residents that we heard for the first time as these residents gathered. This is Chester County residents speaking to officials and getting to confront them face to face in last night's meeting after, of course, the prison escapee, convicted killer, armed and dangerous, on the loose, consuming not just that community in Chester County, but as well, this made international news and led to that 14-day manhunt, a very costly manhunt, costing taxpayers an estimated $3 million plus. So the town hall was an opportunity, they said, for people who live near the Chester County Prison to get some answers and demand changes. So we are hearing from the new warden that they will have upgrades, which I don't know how you feel about it. Should they have already put these upgrades into place when they saw this guy escape and another guy in May? But in essence, they are getting some razor wire and drones and that sort of thing. The community did not seem satisfied with the answers, saying that they don't like the fact that very dangerous criminals would be housed right there by playgrounds, schools in a community.
Yeah, especially if they are like sex offenders or pedophiles in areas with schools and children in a community, for sure. The update I'm wondering and hoping to get an answer for, and two, is did Josh Shapiro, the governor, come through on his hooded sweatshirt delivery update? Remember, he told the guy who Cavalcante broke into the house and stole that Eagles hoodie that he was going to get him a Kelly Green one. Has the governor come through with his promise? I haven't heard any hooded sweatshirt updates.
We need the update.
I know. Hey, look, if that guy or that kid or that guy doesn't get the Eagles hoodie update sweatshirt, I think we send that guy a Kayal and Company sweatshirt as well. Just saying.
That's
throwing
a good
it out
one.
there. There you go.
Just to update you on a story that we had talked a lot about, and that was the deadly and powerful natural gas explosion that leveled a building in West Reading, killing 7 people and injuring so many others in that chocolate factory. So now federal safety investigators have issued a subpoena to the Pennsylvania Public Utility Regulator for documents related to that fatal explosion at the chocolate factory. And this is a long legal dispute that is now escalating. And the claim by the feds is that the PUC here in Pennsylvania is refusing to provide unredacted inspection and investigation reports.
Something to hide, huh?
Yeah.
And this is an old, I mean, this happened, was this in the fall of last year or the winter? This is an old story, but I remember us talking about it.
So, yeah, it was March. Late March.
Okay, yeah.
At the R.M. Palmer Company plant there in West Reading. Remember, it was just a horrible story. But now the PUC being accused of hiding this information. And when they were asked, the feds, saying they wanted the documentation and all of their background, they've heavily redacted them to the point that they cannot discern the information as they continue to investigate. So we'll obviously we've been following this for you from day one, but many in the community, once again, having so many questions and feeling like they're being ignored. So the Fed's now stepping in on that one. And we've been giving the update and so many prayers for beloved Charlie Manuel, of course, the legendary Philadelphia Phillies former manager who's hospitalized after that stroke, and big improvements being reported, his family by his side, and just expressing so much appreciation from all of you, from all of your prayers. But he's out of ICU, doing better, and trying to communicate back and forth. They removed a blood clot, so they have done some surgeries here, and looks like he's on the mend, so thank God for that.
He'll be 80 in January.
Oh.
He was born January 4th, one day after me. Philly skipper.
All these Capricorns.
Good old Chuck from West Virginia.
So we are sponsored this morning by United Tire. We love our Philly sports teams just as much as they love us, cheering them on. Same goes for the great team over at United Tire. So the owners, making customer satisfaction their big priority, working with you to get you back on the road faster. So when it comes to car service, trust United Tire. NBC 10 first alert forecast. Oh, you're going to love this one. We have a sunny stretch. Enjoy it now, because rain is headed our way for Friday and for the weekend. And unfortunately, that coincides when the Phils come home after this, after hopefully they sweep the Braves in Atlanta. But enjoy the sunshine now. The sunny stretch continues. Today for your Tuesday, we're looking at 75 degrees, and the sunny stretch today, Wednesday, Thursday. Then we take a turn, and the clouds and rain move in for Friday and the weekend. This is Kayal and Company News Live.
All right, Don, thank you very much. 7-Eleven Tuesday morning here on Kayal and Company. Going to stay local here with this story as the Daily Wire has posted this, and it's definitely worth having a conversation on just because it just highlights the idiocy in this city and just having the idea that you would even allow this to go on. And finally, drug-infested Philadelphia, the headline says, passes bill to ban supervised drug sites. Supervised drug consumption sites allow people to bring their own drugs. It's kind of like packing your own lunch for school.
Sure.
Instead of going to school and buying the chicken patty with the fries from the lady with the hairnet, you pack your own lunch, right?
Absolutely.
So Philadelphia passed a bill last week banning supervised drug consumption sites across most of the city in the latest attempt by a Democrat-run city to curb rampant drug use in public. Shame on you for even, let me think about that. We're going to allow it in certain areas. It's like we're going to allow crime right here. If you want to rob somebody, here, this is the store you can rob, and we will allow you to do so. The Philadelphia City Council approved the ban just this past Thursday, 5 days ago, in a 13-1 vote. We'd love to know the one who voted the other way. During a heated meeting where dozens of people on both sides of the issue showed up to cheer and heckle speakers, the bill now heads to Mayor Jim Kenney, a Democrat, as we know, who supports supervised drug consumption sites and may refuse to sign it. However, City Council passed the bill with enough of a majority to override a veto should the mayor try to issue one. The legislation would update zoning codes to ban supervised drug consumption sites in 9 of the city's 10 districts, including in the Kensington neighborhood, where, as you've seen, if you've ever seen Officer Mark Fussetti tweeting out videos as he drives through there from time to time, you have all the homeless people lined up that are dealing and shooting up drugs, lined up literally on the street like this is a third world apocalypse going on. The bill, which was drafted by council member Quetzi Lozada, who represents the Kensington area, home to one of the country's largest open-air drug markets, she said most of the people opposing the bill do not live in the neighborhoods struggling the most with the drug addiction. So once again, it's kind of like not on my doorstep, not my problem, so I'll just oppose it. You know, it's the same thing with the migrant crisis. It's not an issue, or you're against A, B, C, or X, Y, Z, and then all of a sudden you open up your door and like, whoa, there's 2,200 people from another country here. We can't have that. We can't be a sanctuary city. We can't be an open drug site city. She goes on to say, quote, I will not apologize for making the voice of the people who live in my community a priority. I would like those of you who don't live in the Kensington community to be respectful of those individuals who are trying to raise their families there and who experience this and are impacted by what they go through every day. Some numbers as late as 2021, 1,276 people, so just under 1,300 people fatally overdosing on those streets in the open-air drug market of Kensington. So we know the Trank is the choice drug these days in that area. But it just highlights to me, guys, that what kind of world, like, think about what the Democrats advocate for. Open borders, no bail, letting people off the hook lightly in police reform. And then with this topic specifically, you know, we can't clean it up, or we don't want to clean it up. So we're just going to permit it in an isolated area. Remember, I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago, we were discussing one topic, and I mentioned one politician. I'm drawing a blank on the individual's name, and it was something to the effect of what's going on with this country, with Ukraine. And the guy's tweet that I read on the air, it's somebody that was in politics in Philadelphia, said if we just spent 1 hour and 1% of all of that in Kensington, you could literally clean it up in like one day. Yet you don't, yet you permit this. And now finally, like, Dawn's sanity prevails, and they say, you know what, after further review, I think it's time we actually ban supervised drug sites, which is just a remarkable story that we had to get to this point to have a 13-1 vote. And there's still that one person out there. I don't know if they reveal names on who votes and how they vote with the Philadelphia City Council, but I would love to have that one person, or maybe, you know, Dom's always talking about local crime issues. Dawn, you are. Love to get that one person on and have them explain their rationale as to why this should continue to keep happening and be an ongoing thing.
Yeah, and And more than anything, I think that the council members saw this is not popular anywhere in the community.
How could it be? like we're allowing illegal activity, people dying. It's not like people are just smoking weed, right? We've seen the pictures. The Daily Mail will do this like once a month, where they highlight Kensington and they show the updated videos and the pictures. I mean, you've seen the graphic images of people that take tranq. They're losing body parts and flesh.
Yeah.
It's like, we're not talking about a bunch of potheads.
Yeah, no, this is a way different thing. And it's always funny, too, you say that one person who voted for this or whatever. It's always an interesting thing because it's the NIMBY, not my backyard thing. People are always in favor of this. The do-gooders. Yep. Oh yes, they're addicts and they need if we don't want them overdosing on the street, at least somebody will be watching them, so in case something happens to them. But then you ask them if you want it next to them. Hell no, we don't. You know what I mean? And it's always these liberal people that live on the main line that have giant gates and live in all white communities or mostly white communities that are like, yes, we need to help these people. We need to make sure that they're supervised but they don't have to deal with it every day. And to Dawn's point, the people in Kensington and these areas, they don't want this in their neighborhood.
Right. But when Republicans initiate this and get the ball rolling and point out how bad it is, well, that's because you're a racist. Or you have white privilege. You don't understand it. It's like, no, drugs are illegal.
Well, and to look at this vote last week, it's significant to point out that it was at-large council member Kendra Brooks, who's of that Progressive Working Families Party. So this party is threatening Republicans from having any voice.
Oh, yeah.
7-1 votership.
Isn't that the one that Fetterman just endorsed?
And Shapiro.
Yeah. And it's the group
Kendra
that
Brooks.
Sam Oropeza was fighting against when he was running for council.
So this is with Sam, like you're saying, with Sam, with Governor Shapiro and others endorsing this individual, but Councilmember Kendra Brooks saying this offers no hope for countless people who are praying for their loved ones to live long enough to make it to recovery. So it's the Progressive Working Families Party candidate who's the one who votes for something that has zero support. In Philadelphia.
Well, Kendra, you want to come on and defend yourself? We can have a conversation. 855-839-1210, the number. So television programs are coming back, fall TV, but apparently nobody seems to miss it. But we do have an update on the writer's strike, both in comedy as well as talk shows. We'll give you that update when we continue. It's Kayal and Company live on a Tuesday morning on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
I am not exaggerating when I say this. QC Kinetics can actually change your life. You can live again without that chronic joint pain and without drugs or surgery. Dawn Stensland here. QC Kinetics is advanced regenerative medicine, and they take your body's own concentrated healing properties, put them directly into your joint to restore and repair that damaged tissue that's causing all that horrible pain. The patient satisfaction reports are astonishing. Finally, a real alternative to the old ways of dealing with pain. And unlike surgery, there's no downtime with QC Kinetics treatments. Get a free consultation from the medical professionals at QC Kinetics today. Imagine this fall moving around pain-free, doing all the things you love again. Just call QC Kinetics, see how the latest advances in precision regenerative medicine can attack your pain and bring you lasting relief. And they're right here in Philadelphia. Call 215-999-3000, 215-999-3000, QC Kinetics. Tell them Dawn sent you.
At Cherry Hill Volvo, we are partnering again with our Costco members. Purchase a certified 2020, 21, or 22 XC40, XC60, or XC90 and receive an incredible additional discount up to $1,500 off. A discount added to the unbelievably already aggressive pricing at Cherry Hill Volvo. Join us for this special offer. Cherry Hill Volvo and Costco and you, perfect together.
Hi, I'm PJ Vogt, here to tell you about my new podcast, Search Engine. On Search Engine, we tackle the kinds of questions that keep you up at night. Like, why are drug dealers putting fentanyl in everything? Should we be worried that Elon Musk believes that we're living in a simulation? And For the love of God, is it actually unsafe to drink the coffee on airplanes? On Search Engine, no question is too big and no question is too small. Listen and follow Search Engine with PJ Vogt and Odyssey Podcast. Available now on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
So many listeners are enjoying beautiful, easy-to-maintain homes thanks to Rhino Shield, and you can too. Dom Giordano here with my good friend, the local owner of Rhino Shield. John, take it away.
John from Rhino Shield here, reminding you that when it comes to painting your home, there is a better way. We all know that traditional paint just doesn't last, and that's why painters only offer a 1-year guarantee. But Rhino Shield is different. Our elastomeric ceramic house paint is warranted for 25 years, so you'll never paint again. Don't spend your money on regular paint that just doesn't last. Invest instead in a product that will protect your home and look beautiful for years to come. Let Rhino Shield show you how you can be done with frequent painting. Call us today at 484-406-5111 for a free consultation, or find us online at www.myrhinoshield.com.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. Your car, running or not, could be picked up as soon as the next day. No title, no problem. Go to carsforkids.org today.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Don't miss Dr. Marianne Ritchie, your radio doctor, Saturday afternoons at 5. Tune in for accurate information so you can make the right medical decisions. Your radio doctor, Dr. Marianne Ritchie, Saturday afternoons at 5 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Do you have heart failure and often hear,
"Those stomach issues ruined your birthday"?
You're too tired to play catch, Grandpa.
Sweetie, you haven't touched your tools since the carpal tunnel syndrome diagnosis.
If these seemingly unrelated symptoms sound familiar, talk to your cardiologist. Ask about transthyretin amyloid cardiomyopathy, or ATTR-CM, a rare and underdiagnosed disease that gets worse over time. Learn more at connecttoyourheart.com. That's connecttoyourheart.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Hey, Riverton. We know your favorite station is Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Kayal Company, 724 as we roll on. 20 minutes out from what's on the cut sheet. That is coming up 7:45 this morning. 855-839-1210 is how you climb in here on the show. So a little update for you here, as we've got a lot of people in the television world, fall TV lineups and things like that, as everybody's back to school, most people back to work, the whole bit. And we've got a lot of people doing a 180 and reversing course. I know we've talked a lot about, the writer's strike on this show, and kind of we've had other, discussions and topics around surrounding the death of late night television. And we talked about the story with Jimmy Fallon and the tough workplace that he apparently creates with his coworkers. Well, Bill Maher and Drew Barrymore apparently are pivoting and doing a 180. Let me start with Bill Maher, who is doing a 180, announcing yesterday that he will not, in fact, return to work on his HBO show Real Time with Bill Maher while the writer's strike is ongoing. He originally said that the show would go on, and we talked about this last week, without writers, because he was, quote, not prepared to lose an entire year and see so many below-the-line people suffer so much. But on Monday, he reversed course, saying, quote, my decision to return to work was made when it seemed nothing was happening and there was no end in sight to this strike. Now that both sides have agreed to go back to the negotiating table, I'm going to delay the return of Real Time for now and hope they can finally get this done. Greg, you're a member of SAG-AFTRA, right?
Yes, I am.
Dawn
is as well.
And Dawn, you are as well. Yeah. So when he pivots back like this and changes his mind, there was two things that came to mind for me. One of them was, well, maybe I don't want to do the work myself. I don't want to have to do the extra writing.
No,
nothing like that
at all. No.
Okay. Nothing. Is it possible that he doesn't want to see the quality of the product be subpar?
Nope.
So then it's the ruffling of the feathers of the writers.
Yes. Yes.
So
There
why
was
are
so
all
much-
these people like now just realizing that?
There was so much pushback. Everybody was calling him a scab, and like he got such bad publicity. And usually, the reason I love Bill Maher is because he usually doesn't care about that.
Yeah.
I think that the pushback was so great on this that he was just like, you know what, I'm done with this, because it's not a coincidence that both him and Drew Barrymore did the same thing.
Okay.
Drew Barrymore is thin-skinned, and if somebody says something mean to her, she's like, "Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'll do yes, I won't do it."
She's a snowflake.
Bill Maher is not like that. So I think that the criticism was just so great that they were just like, you know what, I don't need this. Screw it.
So if you're a writer, do you say thank you, Bill? Does this feel like a loyalty play?
No, he loses either way because he's already deemed a scab because of saying, I'm coming back no matter what.
Because I'm a little surprised, to your point, like you mentioned, that he would care about other feelings or whatever, because Bill Maher, despite what you might think of him politically, for the most part, hates cancel culture. He hates wokeness. He values free speech. And I would also think at this point in his life and his career, and I'm just guessing, I think Bill's in his probably early to mid-60s, if I had to take a guess, and he's got plenty of money. So I would just assume that he's at the point of his career where he's got bleep you money, and at times he's got a bleep you attitude. So it seems a little un-Bill Maher brand-like to kind of do this pivot, which is why I was a little surprised.
I think Drew Barrymore really, she said, "I'm so sorry," and she's all upset, and she didn't mean to offend anybody.
Yeah.
He actually, the statement he released, I think, made a lot of sense. He said at first it seemed like there was no end in sight to this thing, but now both sides have agreed to go back, and they're in the tail end of this, and they're actually returning back to the bargaining table.
Yeah.
So he's delaying it and hoping that both sides get it together.
Yep.
So I think his statement was a logical one.
Mm-hmm.
Drew Barrymore was like what Greg said,
Yeah.
and you said, thin-skinned, and oh my God, I'm so sorry that I never meant to offend. And
You can almost hear that in her speech here. She says, "I'm making the decision to pause the show's premiere until the strike is over. I have no words to express my deepest apologies."
No words.
Like she acts like she killed somebody. Like my deepest apologies to anybody that I have hurt, and of course to our incredible team who works on the show and made it what it is today. We tried really hard to find our way forward, and I truly hope for a resolution for the entire industry very soon. She was probably crying as she typed that out.
Yeah.
So that's Drew Barrymore for
I've
you.
always been a fan of hers. It's just.
Yeah, she was great in E.T.
I know. She's
great in
cute. E.T. She's cute. She's,
She still
always
looks like
been a
she looks
cutie.
like the girl from E.T.
I know.
Oh, she's so
She
annoying.
never aged.
She's so annoying. She's so affected by everything.
But to Greg's point, I mean, come on, you're a businesswoman. You have this show, and now you're going to lose this show ultimately because you know what? There are some really great talk shows out there where the people actually have a work ethic.
I've heard that's apparent on Kayal and Company. Great show with work ethic.
See?
I know. It's possible.
And why can't they just say, "Hey, we're not going to have any good writing. We'll just do interviews."
Well, I
Or
mean,
we'll
Bill
just do something else.
Maher did say that. He says we're not going to have a monologue or
Yeah.
any scripted pieces or new rules. It's just going to be the panel discussion.
Yeah.
Where we just talk about issues. I didn't think there was anything wrong with what Bill Maher was going to do. It's not just the writers, by the way. Like there are cameramen, there are people that depend on that job, that real-time job for a salary that aren't affected by or that are being affected by this writer's strike that aren't on strike.
Yep.
They need to work too.
Yeah,
like
I agree.
this is just come on, man.
And if I'm Drew Barrymore or Bill Maher, for example, you could have a little countdown clock, writer's strike, day so-and-so. Every day you could mention, due to the writer's strike, we're not doing this, that, and the other thing.
Put up a graphic like CNN did during COVID.
Yeah, but these are important times. We want to talk about the issues.
Bubba45 on the YouTube chat says there's no such thing as a Drew Barrymore fan. I would agree with Bubba
I know.
on that.
It is remarkable that she's still on.
Yeah.
Audience of one.
Yeah.
855-839-1210, the number. Cut sheet coming up at 7:45. If you are a tweeter or an Xer to the show and you don't have a little blue check mark, that means you use it for free, right? Social media for free. Elon Musk says no mas. We'll get to that. And Donovan McNabb in the news as well. Kayal and Company as we continue. But first, let me tell you about my friends at the Piazza Auto Group. You know, I've been doing business with Piazza since really February when I sampled a variety of their premium SUVs and trucks. And then I came across the 2023 Honda Ridgeline. I said, that's it right there. The black edition, fully loaded, got to have it. And they made it happen for me. Piazza Honda of Springfield. But if you're not in the Springfield area, Philadelphia, Langhorne, Pottstown, or Reading, you can get there as well to take advantage of 0.9% APR financing. And look, if you're not in the market for a truck, I get it. Not everybody's a truck person. You want to go with an economical car, the Honda Civic. I mean, with gas prices today, you're not going to top the Honda Civic, the Accord, the CR-V, the Pilot is their gorgeous 6-cylinder SUV, and so many more. The Piazza Auto Group, 17 brands, 35 locations. So Honda, Nissan, Mercedes, Volkswagen, Maserati, on down the list, in 35 locations. Don't tell me you can't get there. It's my go-to for all things automotive. To find your new or certified pre-owned vehicle today, do what a lot of people are doing today. I'm just going to go on there and check out some of the inventory right now during the commercial before we get to the cut sheet. Check them out, piazzaautogroup.com.
Having pain like that and not knowing how you caused it and for how long it's lasting, it's debilitating.
QC Kinetics patient Diane Richardson hated not being able to live her life to the fullest due to joint pain. But then she called QC Kinetics, where regenerative treatments helped her pain go away.
The result was phenomenal.
QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in using natural biologics to restore and repair damaged joint tissue.
This was a great alternative for me as opposed to going in and possibly having surgery or something else. There was no downtime, and that's what I loved. My life is too busy for me to be sidelined.
If you're tired of constant pain from arthritis or injury, don't think the old treatments are the only treatments. Discover regenerative medicine at QC Kinetics.
Just to feel good and know that I'm out of pain is the best thing ever. I'm able to do everything that I want to do.
Call QC Kinetics now for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 215-999-3000. That's 215-999-3000. 215-999-3000. Here's retirement phase expert Phil Cannella with today's report.
Many financial advisors and their firms alike spend a great deal of time trying to extract money from the baby boomers. Now, they do have the most disposable income, and they are retiring at an average rate of 10,000 people per day. But it's the generation after the baby boomers, known as Generation X, who really do need to focus on their retirement future. And that's because they're still feeling the negative effects from the Great Recession of 2008. In today's report, you'll learn why those in their 40s and 50s are still struggling to recover and what they desperately need to do now to improve their retirement future. Generation X is comprised of Americans born between 1965 and 78. They are often referred to as the sandwich generation. That's because they're still caring for kids and their elderly parents. Now, this comes with huge financial challenges, ranging from college tuition to nursing home care. Transamerica Center for Retirement Studies, which is the top center in the world for investigating retirement issues, found that Generation X Americans are more likely than baby boomers and millennials to say they have not yet begun to recover or may never recover from the Great Recession of 2008. In fact, 34% of Generation X has no retirement savings at all. Recently, I sat down with Catherine Collinson, the CEO and president of Transamerica Institute and the Transamerica Center for Retirement Studies. Catherine says, and I quote, Generation Xers still have a time horizon where they can build plans, save money, and achieve financial security in retirement. But they're also not getting any younger. So the sooner they get started and refocus, the better off they can be in the long run. End of quote. For many Generation Xers, that's going to start with establishing where they are financially and coming up with some type of plan to address their unique financial needs, inclusive of an emergency fund, which should cover at least 6 months of expenses. It may also mean cutting back on helping your children with their college funding, which can be a difficult choice for some parents. You can take out a student loan, but you cannot borrow money to fund your retirement future.
To hear more stories that will impact your financial future, join Phil Cannella and Joanne Small this Saturday at 11 a.m. on the Crash Proof Retirement Show, only on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Be sure to follow Talk Radio 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
Kayal Company rolling on. Happy Tuesday to all of you out there as the sun begins to rise. Looks like it'll be a beautiful day today. 855-839-1210. What's on the cut sheet coming up at 7:45 this morning. Don't forget, 9:50 this morning, your chance for another opportunity to win a free trip to Walt Disney World. We will give you the keyword at 9:50, and then you take that to the website, 1210wpht.com. Enter it for your chance to win. And also stop by the merch store, the 1210 merch store. Valdez and Dorenzo are in there right now. They've got their little portable registers open. They're ready to take business transactions, and you guys can get Kayal Company apparel, Dom Time, Zioli Show, Dawn Show stuff coming up soon as well. Hoodies, T-shirts, coffee mugs, all sorts of stuff. Might need to do Kayal Company pens, by the way. I had that thought yesterday. Everybody loves a good pen, right? I've been known to be a pen bandit in the past.
All right, just be happy you got a shirt, for God's sake.
Yeah, I am.
Okay.
I've been at many stations in the past where they've had all these grand ideas and it never comes to fruition.
Yeah.
So kudos to you for having the vision and getting it done execution-wise.
What about Frisbees?
Frisbees? Well, a little Kayal Company Frisbee for Buddy
I'm
Boy?
messing with you.
Here you go, Buddy Boy.
Oh,
Oof.
oh,
Free speech, dog.
Oh.
Yeah. Buddy believes in free speech, right? He barks all the time, I've heard.
That's right.
Darn right. All right.
Only when it's important.
Only when it's important?
He's not a yipper.
He's not a yipper.
Yeah.
All right. He keeps it short and sweet?
Yeah.
I like that. It's my kind of guy. 855-839-1210. So Twitter has been an interesting place. I don't really believe that it's changed much at all since Elon Musk acquired it. Remember, Elon Musk paid $44 billion to restore free speech on Twitter. He lost $22 billion. Elon Musk is not in the business usually of failure, of losing money, and how do you stay a billionaire? By not losing billions of dollars. So months ago, Elon Musk decided to say, you know what? No more free blue check marks for, the government or media and journalists or celebrities, but you would have to pay for the blue check. I think it's $11 a month, and I notice it in my Apple iTunes store update every month. I get an email saying I was charged $11 for it. But now it looks like everybody is going to have to pay to be on Twitter, which might actually lead to people leaving it in droves, which would make Greg Stocker happy because Greg has been known to say something like this.
Not everything needs to be on Twitter.
Well, and not everything might be on Twitter anymore because it's going to actually cost every single user a small monthly fee. Elon Musk, the CEO of Twitter and X, is floating the idea that he's had before, but never mentioned publicly, and that is and this is all about getting rid of bots, to charge people to use the social media site, which is weird because every now and then I'll get a couple of followers or a like to a post or a retweet, and I'll click on it and I'll see it, and it's absolutely a bot. It's nobody local. It's nobody that's a conservative. It's nobody that's a sports fan around the country or in any city I've worked in. But it always, honestly, the graphic, the picture of the Twitter profile, it's always like a young Asian female. So like I know it's a bot and it's spam and it's garbage. So Elon is trying to get rid of that. But the existing version, and here's one of their bigger problems, only had a little more than 100,000 active subscribers. So you think, and we said this in the big take this morning, TikTok is the 5th most used app in the world. Twitter is number 10. And I don't know how many total subscribers are on Twitter, but there's only 100,000 people that are actually paying the $11 per month. So even if it's cheaper, $6 a month, $4 a month, whatever it might be, if you make this mandatory to use that app, I think Twitter could be on its last legs here. People aren't going to pay it.
Can we stop with a subscription for everything? Literally everything you need to subscribe to. There was an article I was reading the other day about how it's impossible to find sports these days because this is on Amazon Prime and this is on Apple TV, and you have to go to YouTube TV to have, to get the NFL games, and and all of which costs money.
Mm-hmm.
Everything we do now is subscription based.
But
that's
if you're a capitalist, can you complain?
Yeah, I guess you're right, but it defeats the purpose, in my mind, of Elon Musk buying Twitter. He bought Twitter, in my mind, not to make a profit from it, but to reclaim the throne of the free speech bullhorn.
Yeah.
You know, the town square or whatever.
Correct.
And if you're charging a subscription fee, that defeats that purpose.
You got to pay to voice your opinion now, is what he's saying. He's claiming it under, I want to get rid of the bots. I think the bots are always going to be there, to be honest.
Of course.
For whatever I know.
Of course.
But, you know, you talk about subscriptions. I mean, this is, and look, yes, I get most of my news from Twitter, but like I've tried to argue, it's just the tweet that has the link that takes me to the direct source. So instead of me going to the New York Post's website, I see the New York Post tweet out a story that links it, and I click on it. It's all about convenience and accessibility for me. But we've seen this with the newspaper industry. Nobody goes and picks up a Philadelphia Inquirer or Daily News for $1.25 or $3 when they're at their Wawa. Very rarely. Probably the old school generation, myself included. I actually, this past weekend on Sunday, when I got to Wawa, I had to get gas. I picked up 3 hard copies of newspapers. I love physically holding a newspaper, which is why I have Valdez print my stories, because I don't want to read them off my phone.
Did you read the papers, or did you just look at them and be like, I love?
No, I read them while I drank my coffee. I read them on the toilet. It was great. It's a comforting
There's
thing.
an image.
Yeah. But like nowadays, I get emails all the time. Sign up for the San Francisco Chronicle. 50 cents a week for the digital subscription.
Just to get one article.
Just to get one article.
Yeah, I know.
And it's usually from a show prep standpoint where it's behind a paywall.
Yeah.
But I think the subscription model, to your point, it's becoming a pain in the butt, but it's how these companies try to make a little bit of money on top of whatever ad revenue they generate.
I understand why newspapers are doing it. They're doing it to survive. And I guess I'm making I'm making the opposite point of what I wanted to make, but Twitter seems to me to be something different than that.
Yeah.
But I guess it's not. You know what I mean? Like if it wants to stay alive, does it need to go subscription based? Maybe. But I just feel
it's a good
like
thing we never charge for our content.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like what we do here, you can download the Odyssey app for free.
Yep.
You can download YouTube for free, or you can go to 1210 WPHT, and we're there. Like we give you free content every day. So yeah, in a world where we are inundated with subscribe to this, subscribe to my newsletter, subscribe to that.
Yeah.
I just, I feel like it's people are charging you. And when I'm shilling for stuff, we have merch, but I'm not saying, if you want to watch the YouTube channel, you have to buy merch.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it because it's a way to help out what we do here every day.
Could you imagine if we actually had the nerve or the audacity to charge people $1.99 a month for the Odyssey app or to watch us on YouTube? Yeah, if you want to stream and watch us, that's cool. We hope you go there, youtube.com/@1210WPHT. Oh, by the way, it's $2.99 a month. Please enter your debit card here.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Howard Stern took that approach. He decided that he didn't want to be free anymore, so he was like, no, you have to pay whatever SiriusXM subscribers have to pay these days to listen to me.
Which I think is nothing nowadays. They just give it away with every free vehicle because nobody listens to it. Remember 15 years ago? Terrestrial radio's in trouble.
Oh, yeah.
Get ready. The king of all media has gone to satellite.
Yeah, I remember that.
How did that work out? There you go. All right, so we will get to the McNabb story after the cut sheet because it's 7:45 right on the dot, and it's time for What's on the Cut Sheet.
What's on the Cut Sheet?
What's on the Cut Sheet on Tuesday is brought to you by our good friends at Cherry Hill Volvo, where Costco members save even more. Purchase a certified 2020, 2021, or 2022 XC40, XC60, or XC90 and receive an additional $1,500 off. Visit Cherry Hill Volvo today. Check them out on Route 70 in Cherry Hill Volvo, where relationships matter. Yes, we don't charge you here. When I say subscribe to the YouTube channel, it's free. Dawn always points that out because I'm lax in saying it. It's free. When I tell you to like the page,
it's free.
It's free. When
Just
I tell
take
you
your
to
time.
Download the Odyssey app, it's free. But to help us out here, you can patronize our wonderful sponsors. That is imperative to keep free speech alive. We're not going to charge you a subscription fee. I promise you that. Promise you that. Let's start with, so we posted yesterday on Twitter, Nick, the video of us talking about Lauren Boebert yesterday.
Yeah, the Boebs.
Got a lot of backlash. People like, I can't believe you're talking about a GOP. Yeah, the Republicans love to eat their own.
Yeah, I saw that.
It's a new story.
Yeah, it is. It is, and I had to go off on somebody yesterday on Twitter.
Yeah,
once every it's my quarterly obligation. Once every 3 months, because honest to God, I don't get a lot of pushback. I don't get a lot of trolls or haters. Most people love what we do and agree with what I tweet about. But just every now and then, you just got some cranky curmudgeon, get off my lawn guy who's. And by the way, when we post these videos, they're 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 6 minutes long on Twitter. That's not the entirety of the conversation.
It's not.
So listen to the full show live, listen to the full show on demand, or watch it and get the full context of what we're talking about.
It's just to give you a little taste of the show.
Yes.
It's a little promotion.
Yes,
for,
a little tease to drive you
us.
to the full stuff.
Yeah. So let's start with the Boebs because it got such intense. The Boebs, right?
Boebs. Yeah. Keep your hand off my Boebs.
It got such intense.
Can I just say something?
Absolutely.
Of course.
This story, this has nothing to do with conservatives. It just so happens that conservative women, for whatever, look
hot.
at these, they're hot. And that's, so if you're insulted by this, just understand Greg and Nick and all the men on Fox, they got filled last night. They would not be talking about this if they were liberal women, right? Because of the way, I mean, they.
Well,
like,
if
it
it was
looking at the Boebs.
If it was AOC being felt up in a movie theater, I think we'd be talking.
I think we would talk about it, but
Okay,
the narrative would be completely
There's
different.
a little obsession going on.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Well, yeah.
And by the way, for all the people who be like, she's a true-blooded conservative and you guys are attacking her, there's an article in Politico that says she's ditching the MAGA thing because it's not playing well in Colorado. So she's a phony like the rest of them. So stop it. Stop it with this.
I don't believe that she's going to ditch the MAGA thing just because Politico reports it.
Okay, but
They're
putting these politicians up on any sort of pedestal is you're going to get burned. Trust me.
I agree with you on that.
They're all scumbags. They are all liars.
That's why I don't idolize and worship any of them.
God, you put this person is a true. Okay.
I'm just going to say this. She's going through a really tough divorce.
Yes,
she did come out and apologize.
I feel for the man she dumped.
Some people, I don't. Some people, she shouldn't have been dating that guy anyway.
Well,
Some people, have people around them who say, hey, if you're going through a divorce, don't go on Twitter.
Yeah.
Just stay cool. Don't go out in public.
All right, Nick, taking notes as we speak. Will he listen?
Some people have, a big daddy or brand manager, whatever you want to call him, who watches out for you,
Nick,
right? When you're going through tough times.
Nick, she's talking to you, my friend.
Hey, Bobes.
You're my audience one, baby.
Bobes, my DMs are open.
Oh, my God.
See, that's what it is. Like, Lauren Boebert may have more in common with some people here than we know.
Yeah.
She's going through this is tough.
Right.
She's going through a tough time.
I'm telling you what, though, I do feel bad for the guy. Forget that he's a Democrat and he's older than her or whatever.
It's his loss.
He got kicked to the curb.
That's right.
He did nothing wrong. He's a victim.
She's so upset that her hand slipped and landed in his lap. I mean, it happens. You know what I mean? She's so distraught that sometimes you have to just grab somebody's crotch.
Right.
Okay.
Sometimes you just got to
happens.
grab onto something and squeeze and pray for the best.
Yeah.
Okay,
so TMZ caught up with her yesterday.
Okay.
And asked her about this video that's gone viral. And this is what she said. Cut 6.
Congresswoman, I know it's been a rough week, or has it been?
It's always hard whenever there's gravity put on the voters. I'm here to provide levity and lift burdens off of people. So anytime that they're
By the way, I'm going to stop this right now. If you're watching right now on YouTube, she has a she has a sweatshirt on with that her arm showing. It's like
shoulder.
What do you call it?
It's an off the shoulder.
Yeah. It's a good
kind
look.
of. Now we should do maybe a Kayal and Company because it's gray.
Right. Yeah.
You could do. It's not Kayal and Company, but it's an off the shoulder, so she's showing a little shoulder.
By the way, I like the hat on a female.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of the female wearing a hat.
Yeah, sure.
It's a good look.
Yeah.
She looks fabulous. She looks fabulous even in a gray.
Yeah.
Whatever off the shoulder sweatshirt and a hat.
She's got great teeth as well.
Well, let me ask you this. Let me ask you guys this, and this is actually more of a question for Dawn. The dress that she had on to go see a Beetlejuice musical. Appropriate.
Well, I said this, my observation yesterday.
Oh, come on. What are you, the church lady on SNL?
Yes. Somebody said that about Stalker on Twitter yesterday, that he's the church lady.
Yeah.
But no, my
she's
observation
on a date.
yesterday was like, I thought they were both overdressed. I'm like, wait a minute, they're at a theater?
Mm-hmm.
She's in a killer dress, and he's wearing almost a suit. I'm like,
I mean,
it's a live play.
A lot of people.
I mean, her breasts are sticking out.
Dawn, do you and Larry get dressed up like that when you take in a show?
Sure.
Really?
Absolutely.
Okay.
All right, you guys have more decorum than I do. I'd be in a hoodie and cargos like Fetterman.
I think it's to have a date night, to dress up, and she's rocking that dress and rocking the heels.
She's rocking it, all right.
Right? She's rocking it. And she's having a fun date night. She's single again.
Good for her.
Good for her.
Amen to single.
We cannot criticize her dress code.
Yeah.
And then
Bubba 45 says they dress to show other people they're better than them. I don't disagree with that.
Hey, Mama, if you got it, you flaunt it.
Yeah, you're right. You got it. I mean, look, there's nothing wrong with having pride in your appearance. You work hard, you stay disciplined.
Wait, hang on, Dawn.
Absolutely.
Wait, Dawn, for one, the protect the children mom who's like, oh, my children might see an F word somewhere. That's okay for her to go out with her boobs sticking out? Come on.
She's wearing the dress, if you look at her walking, it's actually...
Heaven forbid my children may see a sex scene somewhere, but Lauren Boebert being felt up in a movie theater is fine.
There could be a nip slip. We could have Janet Jackson Super Bowl gate all over again. It'll be anarchy.
All right, can we start this over? We got off the tracks as we normally do on this segment. I'm going to start the segment over, Daniel.
Congresswoman, I know it's been a rough week, or has it been?
It's always hard whenever there's gravity put on the voters. I'm here to provide levity and lift burdens off of people. So anytime that they're carrying mine, it's something that kind of feel deep inside. But ultimately, all future date nights have been canceled, and I learned to check party affiliations before you go on a date. But all in all, it was mostly a lovely time, and I've taken responsibility for my actions. Would love to know how the musical ended, and I encourage people to go and see it. But it was a great time back in the district, seeing voters and.
So how are the voters taking it? How are the voters taking it right now? Are they understanding at this moment?
Yeah, there's a lot of folks who are certainly understanding, and they understand that it was a part of my personal life, my private time, something that I rarely indulge in, and yeah.
A couple of things. First of all, she didn't see how it ended. She didn't see how the play started either. So let's get that out of the way, first of all, because they were completely infatuated with each other. But secondly, I like the fact that she says that she provides levity based on the gravity of... I thought that was a pretty clever response, quick-witted, nice reply by her. But the whole thing, I'm going to check party affiliation before I date in the future. You don't really believe for a second that she gives two flying bleeps about if she sees a guy that she likes. I highly doubt. Now, I could be wrong, but I highly doubt that she's going to care if that guy's got a D in front of his name.
I don't know. I think that the guy turned out...
It depends on how big the D is.
I think the guy turned out to be a D. And I think that's the...
Oh, you think he's the one who like...
Dawn blaming the straight white cis male. This is...
No, I just think the guy wasn't a stand-up guy.
Probably
and kind of slithered away and let her take the fall for it. I just think that she realized a lot about the guy. So... And so maybe that led her to realize this whole... I just think she's obviously going through this divorce, and she's going through a tough time. She apologized. I think it's more important that she came out. She owned it.
Mm-hmm.
She fully owned it. She apologized.
Yeah.
Because after all, she is somebody who has come out and talked about morality, right?
Right.
Right. She has.
Well, if that's
done
the card,
that in
if that's the card you play, then you got to play that
That's
card
right.
in out in public.
Yeah. So if she had never come out and talked about morals or things of that nature, and also the fact that it was a pregnant mom sitting, because she's talked about parental rights, it was a pregnant mom like sitting behind her who was the one who complained that she was vaping.
Yeah.
And so that's not I don't know anything about that mom sitting behind her. It just, I think she was smart in realizing this is not a good look. This is not, and she just came out and said what she had to say, owned it, and so I think she handled that very well. And I think her base, this does not hurt her at all.
Let me ask you a question. And Dawn, you know I love you, and you know I'm coming at this from a place of love. So this is an uncomfortable conversation or a uncomfortable question, but what the hell? I'm going to ask it anyway. You're a very classy lady. We love you on this.
Well, thank you.
Would you let Larry do that to you in a movie theater?
I'll be back in a couple of minutes, guys.
I'm being dead because my wife certainly would not. Oh boy, listen to that silence.
We need the Jeopardy music. Dun, dun,
Listen to that
dun,
silence.
dun,
Wow.
dun, 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 dun.
Okay.
Let him. I don't know that he. I think a piece of it is we would not do that because we have too much respect for each other and the people around us.
Okay.
To be honest, have I ever made out as a teen? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, yes. We've all done it. I've done it. I'm sure Nick has too. We've all done it
in college or whatever.
Yes. Not when you're in your 30s and 40s.
But
I'm just saying no.
I just think that look, I think this is the best thing that ever happened for Beetlejuice.
Nobody wants to see that dumb musical.
Obviously, it turned them on.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know.
Yeah.
I think we're all human, and so she came out and said, "I'm going through this," and she felt embarrassed, and she expressed that. So I'm willing to say, if this is her apology and she moves on with her life, I think we're all human.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to be judgy of her.
We've got the vice president on the line. Kamala Harris, have you ever been felt up at a movie theater by your husband, Doug? That's a yes.
Oh, boy. Yeah. Sid Weiss says he should have done the popcorn trick. Agreed. I mean, at least be discreet about it, right?
Yeah. Although, but you know what? I mean, I was with my wife for over 20 years. Like, when we were dating and from 18 to 22, could totally pull that off. But, like, once to your point, Greg, 30s or into your 40s, it's just what I said yesterday. Like, didn't you get that out of your system when you were, like, you felt like you were breaking the rules?
Yeah.
Like, mom and dad would drop you off at the theater. You'd meet your girlfriend, stand in line, get the tickets. You're in and out at 7, you're in the car at 9:30, and you're like, and you're just praying to God first, because let's go behind the scenes here. As a guy, in that moment where you're contemplating doing that, there's a lot going through your mind. Is the usher going to see me? Am I going to get kicked out? Are other customers and patrons around me going to be offended or say something?
No, they were in a dark theater.
And oh, by the way, is the girl going to slap me in the face if I go for it?
Well, that's the other thing. Wait, hang on. I'm going to say something very sexist here.
Let's quarterback this.
She had to be sending off some sort of signal for him to just go and grab.
Well, the signal
grab
is
himself a handful.
If she grabs your crotch, then it's full throttle. Then it's
oh yeah. But
did she initiate?
That's a good question. Did she initiate it?
Right.
Justin on the YouTube chat says Dawn just caused so many accidents with that pause.
76 is a hellhole now because of Dawn.
I know, because I don't know. Like, part of me just thinks we, in the stressful time, it's it's really a stressful time right now, and that somebody goes on a date night and has that love and feeling. Like, part of me is like,
it's a stress reliever.
I don't know, but have we done that to each other? No, but I'm gonna admit, if I never knew that in a dark theater they had that infrared camera going on.
And
I swear to God, I never knew that.
Let the record show we have now spent 15 minutes on Lauren Boebert on the cut sheet. We know what we're doing, folks.
Oh.
Well, there's
also, I'm just going to say this. When you're a conservative, and especially a conservative woman, you're more likely that somebody is focusing that infrared camera on you. And so all the more reason to realize that. And I think what happened to Lauren Boebert, whether you like her or not, whatever, I think it is a signal to everybody, especially conservative women, that they are going to try to rip you apart if you do and have a human. I
also think
moment.
too, it's a reminder to all of us, politics aside, party affiliation be damned. You just have to realize in 2023, just always assume two things. You're under some sort of video surveillance, and there could be a hot mic. If you don't want to deal with drama, if you don't want to be exposed, crushed, ridiculed, fired, or whatever, just imagine, just be of the belief that somewhere there's a video camera, whether it's surveillance or a cell phone, or somebody's got ears. When I say a hot mic, but ears, like, you're going to be held accountable for everything in this day and age. That's the society we live. I think people take joy out of tearing people down.
Agreed.
True. And distracting society when we're all getting ripped off.
Yes.
By Bidenomics.
Right.
By the way, just to defend her for 1 second, she's going through a divorce, and meaning she probably hasn't been touched by a man in a while. So, at that moment, she's probably like, okay.
She needs a little
mustard.
Yeah. I'll need a little mustard in it.
But I think it also shows you nothing. What was going on the date was sort of the hot mojo happening.
Yeah.
I don't think anything happened in private, actually. I actually think that was...
Was that the first date? Do we know?
Oh, man. It's a great question.
I mean, if this was not the first date and the guy, achieved the end goal, then he's probably not too bothered today. But if he didn't, man, I feel like he missed out.
Yeah.
The Boebs.
Yeah. All right.
Long live the Boebs.
Let's there's people like, oh, who cares? She's just human. Okay.
Okay. Whatever. Yeah, let's talk about the CPI.
You mentioned yesterday, Nick, the interview that Trump did with Megyn Kelly, where she asked him, can a man become a woman? And his hesitation in this has become a big talking point.
I didn't like it.
Really?
I
Because
did not like it.
I'm hearing... So two things here. We have the clip. This was from a couple days ago. But then she went on with Glenn Beck yesterday, and she said that she thought it was weak sauce, his answer.
I agree.
Okay. He doesn't... All right, let's play it, and then we can decide.
All right.
Can a man become a woman? Megyn Kelly asked this to Donald Trump. Cut 4.
Can a man become a woman?
I need that as a drop.
In my opinion, you have a man, you have a woman. I think part of it is birth. Can the man give birth? No. Although they'll come up with some answer to that also someday. I heard just the other day they have a way that now the man can give birth. No, I would say I'll continue my stance on that.
Okay. Ultimately, the answer is no, but it's the uncertain. I mean, he had the response that I think some men have when they're asked about what their stance is on abortion, because it's a very touchy subject for a lot of people. This, to me, is not a touchy subject. There are 2 genders, not 14. Men can only be men. Women can only be women. Women cannot become men. Men cannot become women. Men cannot give birth to babies. It's as simple as that. But I understand, like I said yesterday, with the way he kind of finessed the abortion topic, whereas DeSantis is pretty a hardliner on it. If you want to win, you might have to be a little softer on your stance. So I'll give him credit for that. But, I mean, this to me is a much more no-brainer than the abortion topic. Men can only be men. Men do not have periods. It's not possible. Just say it. It's nothing. I mean, 70% of Americans agree. The NBC Gallup poll is like, no, we do not. 70% of Americans say men should not be in female sports. But yet, that's controversial.
I want to hear.
But that wasn't the question. Was it had nothing to do with female sports? He's been very clear on it.
Okay.
And so I just think, to me, it wasn't his hesitation about that. I just think as far as the birth question, that's what it comes down to.
Yes.
But I think that he's talked about this so much. He's been so clear. He's done rallies with Riley Gaines up there.
Yep.
This has nothing to do with girls in sports. I just think he thinks if you want to dress up like a lady, I think that what he's I think he was being careful with saying it, but I think what he's saying is if you want to dress up like a lady, go for it.
That's my takeaway, because if somebody asked me, can a man become a woman? I'm like, sure, if they want to. But he went back to the birthing issue, like where, no, men can't give birth. But can a man become a woman? Yes.
But dressing up as a woman does not make you a woman.
In your mind, it does.
I'm not saying. I know, but that's what I would call a mental health breakdown. You mentally think you are.
I'm not
but
disagreeing with you.
You're not mentally in a right state of mind. Because normal people don't do that.
I'm not disagreeing with you. My question on this is that he's getting roasted for this, and I'll play her response to that. But I don't really see him hesitating at all. She was asked if a man can become a woman. And he said, I don't know.
Look, if his answer is help him get elected, then so I've told you, how bad do you want to win, Republicans? you might have to say some things you don't necessarily believe in, or you might have to alter your stance on something. So if that's the strategy, or maybe he was just in the moment, and if he goes back and watches the tape, maybe he would say, "Boy, I should have probably been more adamant about it." I mean, I think it's fair to critique with the way he he didn't dance around it. He answered it, and he answered it correctly. But it was, I think, kind of the hesitancy.
But with Trump, he has been consistent on the fact that, and this is his view of the world. He was never somebody who talked about morals or the Bible says. That's not him.
Right.
That's not who he is.
No.
I mean, he's a free market guy. He's an art of the deal guy.
Yep.
That's his skill set.
Yep.
To me, his answer here is quite consistent. He doesn't care in a business setting if it's okay with everybody and you got bathrooms, go to whatever bathroom, be who you are, live freely. But I think his whole deal has been that, and he talks about birth, but he has talked a lot about girls and women in sports, but that wasn't the question.
Right. Oh, and look, I'm with you. Like, you do you. You only have one life. You want to dress up like a girl, but that's fine. But just don't try to tell me that it's science, it's biology, it's possible. This is fictitious. This is all fantasy. This is your imagination. You're being a girl. You're not a girl.
Trump has always been socially liberal. I mean, he doesn't govern that way. Like, when he was president, he didn't govern that way.
Correct.
But I think his own personal beliefs are actually more socially liberal. So this answer doesn't shock me, and I think it's right in line with what he thinks.
Okay. So you guys all think that the backlash and the outrage unwarranted here?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Megyn Kelly went on Glenn Beck because, of course, this is getting news, so she's promoting it like she should be doing. She calls his answer weak sauce. Cut 5 here.
What was your takeaway? Because he never really answered it, but he did shake his head no towards the beginning. What's your takeaway from that?
Well, I thought it was weak sauce. I really wish he did better on that. I like Ron DeSantis' answer, I'm going to be honest, which is no. No.
Right.
No.
Right.
No. Obviously no. And it's not determined based on who can give birth. It's determined by God, and it's pretty obvious just as soon as you come out of the womb. That's the way it's always been. That's the way it continues to be, notwithstanding this weird agenda by some activists in this crazy trans agenda-pushing cult. So Trump clearly knows that. I don't know if he's trying to appease some group of trans voters that he thinks is going to make the difference with him. Even when I had Don Jr. on my show, he was kind of dancing around this issue. I think that they think they're somehow going to do better with Democrats if they don't hit this straight on, even though, 98% of the Republican Party is united on this issue. It is not a winner for any Republican to hedge on this. Just ask Asa Hutchinson.
I agree wholeheartedly with Megyn Kelly's takeaway there in response to Glenn Beck. I do think, which is why I'm not going to kill Trump for it. If this is a political strategy, and I didn't know that Don Jr. was on with, because I don't listen or watch the Megyn Kelly show, but apparently his kid was on and kind of had the same stance, and that's fine. Because at the end of the day, I want to see him win re-election and get back into the office in 2024. And if that's the steps you have to take, and those are the answers, and the way you have to kind of present it when prompted to, I'm totally fine with that. But I also agree with her on the DeSantis front. And for 5 months, I've killed DeSantis, and everybody's been, I can't believe you bailed on Ron. I'm going to defend Ron here. Ron has been absolutely more cut and dry, adamant. Now, it might not work in his favor. I mean, he's getting crushed by Trump anyway, so it's a moot point. He's not going to challenge Biden. But his hardline stance on that issue, as well as abortion, is very well likely a losing formula for him. So that's kind of where I stand on it.
Mike Carr on the YouTube chat writes, "This is not a question that should concern the POTUS." I agree. This is not
it's not one of the core issues that really should matter, right?
It's
economy.
Not for the president of the United States.
Yeah.
Am I wrong? I don't know.
No, I think that's what a lot of voters loved about him, and crossed over even libertarians, independent voters, was that he didn't have an answer like Megyn Kelly or Ron DeSantis gave. He didn't say, oh, this is determined by God, because a lot of people feel that we have separation of church and state. They don't want a president imposing his or her religious beliefs and that sort of thing. So I think that his answer, he has been very clear about women and girls in sports. He has over and over and over, that's a different issue.
Yep.
Now, do I wish that he had pivoted in that question when Megyn Kelly said that? And do I wish that he had said, when it comes to men playing in women and girls sports, the answer is absolutely not. It's not fair.
Yeah. Well,
it's not right.
This is part of a bigger clip, this was just a soundbite. They did talk about puberty blockers for kids and all that stuff, and he was against all of that stuff. So, just that question alone shouldn't define the entire conversation they had about this, but it is.
But let me pose this question, because I think we all have the answer. There are elections are decided on that independent out there, the person that's on the fence. But how many people are truly still undecided out there or on the fence about Donald Trump? You either love him, support him, will vote for him, love his policy, don't like his antics, or you want the guy to rot in hell and die in prison. Like those are the two camps pretty much. So for if the belief is there really isn't many people out there undecided on Trump, does that answer, or the way he presents that answer along with his son, and to the strategy of trying to, now if it's a Nikki Haley, maybe her answer there brings in, is that an answer that Trump's going to win people over with? Because I feel like most people, like we always say, hey, if we sent Daniel out on the streets and did man about town right now, we would come back and there would not be one person that said, I have no opinion on Trump.
It's true.
So that's the next level question I'm wondering. Like, are we just bickering here over something that really won't matter with that independent in a swing state?
Yep.
I think that he's good enough in these interviews to understand that there are sometimes when you don't want to give good soundbite.
Yeah.
Yes.
He purposely did not give good soundbite.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's a smart political move by him, and I think that it doesn't. His answer is kind of meaningless with this. The majority of people know how he feels on this, and if they don't, they know that even what he personally believes is not going to always change how he governs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Some YouTube chat here. JC3 asks, how is Greg even a part of the show? That's a great question. It's a great question, JC. If you would like to email the higher ups there, you can have me removed from the show. I would love to not get up at 4 a.m. So, JC, first, thanks for listening. I know you listen.
Will that make you happy, Fred? Will it?
But if you would if you don't want me on the show, tell my bosses.
What's his name?
JC.
Yeah, JC. No, we want Greg on the show. So thank you.
And I'm more than happy to not get up at 4 a.m. Trust me.
What sparked that question?
Oh, I don't know.
Does he not like the cut sheet?
Yeah.
Yeah, he just triggers people, which is what we like.
It's the highest listened to.
Exactly.
Quarter hour in the whole station, but okay. Tell me again.
Ornery Hound says on Twitter, it's apparent that Trump is an old-school JFK-era Democrat who converted to Republican due to disagreement with progressives. I live in Delaware. My vote won't matter.
Yeah.
Vote won't matter.
I just think that question has been taken way out of
context.
It's got a lot of run.
And credit to Megyn Kelly for having a clip like that went viral, and she's milking it like she should do.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's this big scandal like everybody is making it sound. You know what I mean? I just think that he hedged a little bit, but everybody knows where he stands on it.
But he also doesn't have these little slogans.
Like DeSantis does?
Right.
Yeah.
And so he's
the only slogan he's ever used is "Make America Great Again." Other than that, it's just,
which is a pretty good, solid slogan.
It's just real, raw, and authentic.
And it's not going to win or lose him the election.
Right.
Look at DeSantis. He's run for months now on woke. It's gotten him nowhere.
Yep.
Because people don't vote on that.
Right.
Yes, it's their big issues. Yes, they affect school boards and local elections. I agree with all of that. But for a job like the President of the United States of America, nobody cares about your war against woke.
Well,
Nobody cares about it.
This was what really took over for him in Florida.
Florida is where woke goes to die.
Exactly.
To your point, it doesn't play nationally.
Yeah, that slogan is just, it's,
he's kind of abandoned it, too, quietly.
Because woke has jumped the shark.
Yeah.
It has.
Yeah.
And he's the one. He's Fonzie jumping the shark.
I don't even like using the word anymore when I'm mocking an individual or a subject or a story that falls under the woke category.
Yep.
I try not to even use the word anymore. It's played out.
If Trump runs on the economy and immigration, borders, crime, all that stuff, he'll win.
Yeah.
Those are the only talking points he needs.
Some would say
that's it.
Some would say it starts and ends with just the economy.
Yeah. Nah. The border's an issue.
Yeah, it is.
So we played a lot of the clips yesterday from Trump's interview with Kristen Welker. Anna Navarro on the View, who, by the way, looks like she lost some weight.
Oh yeah.
She good for her. Look healthy. You know, we want everybody to be healthy, even if we disagree with him.
Yeah.
She dissed Welker for the Trump chat. She basically said, "Hey, you're interviewing an insane person."
Oh.
Cut 2.
Look, one of the things with Trump is that I find interviewing him, and when I watch these interviews, it's like herding cats on a hot tin roof, right? It's just impossible. I want to talk about Kristen Walker. Meet the Press is the longest. Welker is the longest.
She doesn't even know.
Yeah.
Like, she doesn't even know who's.
I want to thank Wes
Kristen
Walker.
Wesley Walker.
Paul Walker was interviewing Donald Trump, even though he's been dead for 12 years, and
I mean. Dawn, did you see the image of her? She looks.
She lost 40% of her face. It's a good look. Correct. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For her,
she's on the same
Ozempic.
thing. Yeah, she was on the DeSantis weight loss program.
Ozempic?
I think everybody is.
Allegedly.
I might get on it too. Nick Kayal here for Ozempic.
She's not. We don't know that for a fact. We're just joking. I'm going to start that clip over, Daniel. So if you will, cut 2 again.
Look, one of the things with Trump is that I find interviewing him, and when I watch these interviews, it's like herding cats on a hot tin roof, right? It's just impossible. I want to talk about Kristen Walker. Meet the Press is the longest. Welker is the longest political show on TV, 76 years. This is the first time there is a woman.
Put a sentence together.
It's a show. It's okay. Sorry.
Woman of color who is the host, and I think that's an incredible accomplishment and achievement. She was wonderful yesterday, thanking the women who came in front of her and paved the way and opened the doors. She thanked Andrea Mitchell, who when she first applied in 1967 for a news job, was told, women don't belong in the newsroom. She was incredibly classy. I wish she had not done a Trump interview as her first one, because I think nobody ever wins with a Trump interview. Nobody looks good because he's just, it's like, interviewing an insane person.
Yeah.
Do you think actually it is interviewing an insane person? Take off the mic. Should hear.
Yeah, Anna Navarro's an idiot, and I'm going to tell you why. You're making a debut on one of the most historical new. Forget if it's fluff material, if it's hardcore left wing, whatever. It's a huge show, and you're getting your opportunity. And of course, they had to go identity politics there and mention Kristen Welker, and she's a female and she's a minority and this and that and everything else. Let's. When we debut the show, let's shoot for the stars, guys. So Kristen Welker sitting there with her producers. Who should we get on to make a splash? Why don't we book Bernie Sanders?
Yeah.
How about we book? Let's go for the most polarizing guy in all of politics. Let's go for Donald Trump. That's a sound business decision. And if it's and when she sits there and says nobody wins when they interview Trump or cover Trump, then why did CNN cover him for 6 years? And their whole ratings were based on the fact that they had Trump derangement syndrome 24/7, 365.
Yeah.
She's wrong on everything. By the way, she will never be a media consultant because she'll put people out of business.
She wasn't she?
Anna Navarro?
Was she really?
She was on.
She was a consultant?
She was on the failed campaign of John McCain.
Was that her?
Yeah,
Well, that
she was
proves my
on
point
it
then.
with Nicole Wallace Loser and Schmidt.
Steve Schmidt. It's unbelievable to me how that train wreck of a campaign sparked so many people that advise them with careers.
Yeah.
She's on The View.
Oh, I know.
Nicole Wallace has her own show on MSNBC.
Yeah.
Steve Schmidt was the Lincoln Project and all that nonsense.
Yeah.
Like, it sparks so many careers.
Oh, it happens in sports all the time. Wait, this guy went 12-38 as a head coach, and now he's an analyst on TV as an expert?
Yeah.
He won 20% of his games. He doesn't know anything. I should listen to him now? Come on.
I'm going to play some of the John Fetterman was on with Chris Hayes last night, All In with Chris Hayes. I'm going to play the clip we played earlier. Then I have two other ones. So I'm going to start with cut 2 here, Daniel. So he was asked about the Freedom Caucus. He called them Team America and referenced what did he reference in this clip, Nick?
Oh, he was talking about if you're going to try it, you might want to go hump another leg or something.
Humping legs. I don't know. When we played this earlier, somebody on the chat says they don't think we're in this weird thing where they don't think it's Fetterman.
Yeah, I've seen that again because he looks different.
Does he look different in this? Well, go to YouTube, youtube.com/@1210WPHT, and tell me if he looks different in this.
Well,
I don't know. Like,
you know
it
what
looks,
it is because I've seen 4 different pictures all put together, and you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of those diet weight loss infomercials where you have the before and after. You have like the guy who was 270 and now he's 225, and they do the split screen, and he's got different eye color, he's tanner, and he's thinner, and you're like, that's not even the same dude.
Yeah.
This is really Fetterman, folks. It's not an imposter.
All right, well, you can be the judge. YouTube.com/@1210WPHT. K2, Daniel.
How things have operated since that deal was a bipartisan deal was struck for certain top-line spending numbers for all of the funding bills that have to be passed to make the budget, keep the government running. The Senate has basically been delivering those and passing them by big 91-7 bipartisan majorities. The House today looks like it's falling apart. You've already got 17 no votes in that House Republican caucus saying we're not passing anything. What do you think's happening here?
Yeah, I was very proud of my colleagues, because they're really about governance. That's what it is. And on the other, the House, the whatever they call themselves, Team America or whatever they call themselves, I just like, bring your vote. Otherwise, they need to go hump a different leg.
On a serious front in the beginning, and for the most part of that clip there, he sounds relatively better than he has in the past. So I certainly, hope that he's, continuing to recover from that awful stroke. And if there's any chance of more improvement, God bless the guy. But that being said, I have no idea what the hell he was talking about there. I don't know what he was trying to accomplish. It got very awkward at the end when he made the humping comment. And as far as the conversation goes with his visual appearance, I think most people are being tongue-in-cheek and facetious when they say that they don't think that's really Fetterman. But for the few that really don't think that's Fetterman, I can't help you.
I don't know. There's a lot of people in the YouTube chat who don't think it's Fetterman.
Then who is it?
I don't know.
I mean, he's got the same tattoos. By the way, the mustache. He's got a solid stash going right now. Like this is the most positive I've ever. This is the most complimentary I've ever been of Fetterman.
It's true.
This is really remarkable. A year into the show,
he was asked about the Senate changing the dress code for the House floor or the Senate floor, and it's all because of him. He got into a little spat yesterday with Marjorie Taylor Greene on Twitter, and he responded to that. This is cut 11.
Let me start with the most important matter facing our country at this dire moment, which is the matter of the Senate dress code, which has recently been changed.
Of course, yes, yeah, no, of course. I've heard that some people are upset about that, and the right have been like losing their mind. They're just like, oh my God, dogs and cats are living together, and like I said, aren't there more important things we should be talking about rather than if I dress like a slob?
Yes, Marjorie Taylor Greene said that Senate no longer enforcing a dress code for senators is to appease Fetterman is disgraceful. Dress code is one of society's standards that set etiquette and respect for institutions. Stop lowering the bar. What do you say to that?
Well, her platform, really, she runs on more and more ding-a-ling, picks, on in the meetings over in Congress. So again, I'm not really sure why she cares how I dress, but she really takes it a different way.
All right, so I've arrived at a conclusion here. I've got a theory. So we've got a ding-a-ling reference, and we've got a humping a leg reference.
All in one
clip.
Yep.
Yeah, Fetterman's been watching videos of Boebert. Fetterman's horny. That's what it is.
It's important because he represents Pennsylvania. Am I wrong?
Yes, and I don't care about society's standards, but I care about institutional, traditional standards. And when you're in the United States Senate or the House of Representatives, or you're a governor, or you're a president, you need to dress the part. You could be the mayor of a town of 3,800 people. I don't want to see you from time to time, dress down Friday. I got it. But, I'm sorry, I'm not going to label you a fashion icon because you look like a bum. Sorry. I was too nice for Fetterman for a while. I had to come back to myself.
They talked about the strike, the union strike with the auto workers that's happening right now. Fetterman went there and supported him. Drove his truck, supporting the union workers. Trump also visited there, and he's saying that Trump is imitating John Fetterman by going to visit them.
Trump's imitating Fetterman.
Exactly.
Okay.
Cut 12.
You were you drove I think it's a Ford from Braddock, Pennsylvania, where you live, out to Michigan for a rally with the striking United Auto Workers. I want to play you what President Biden had to say about the strike, and then get your thoughts on the strike. This is what President Biden had to say.
Mm-hmm. The companies have made some significant offers, but I believe they should go further to ensure record corporate profits mean record contracts for the UAW. Let me say that again. Record corporate profits, which they have, should be shared by record contracts for the UAW. And just as we're building an economy of the future, we need labor agreements for the future.
What do you think about the president's message to strikers, and what were you telling them there out on the line?
No, again, I do know that Joe Biden is really a strong, incredible pro-labor president. That's
Joe Biden.
And I know he's going to be involved in the way he should be, and we're going to all work towards, a better ending for the workers. I mean, I was proud to drive there. Well, I mean, I literally drove in my Bronco. The Bronco wanted to meet its makers and where it was born. That's where I greeted the workers that literally built my car. And I'm proud to stand with them. And, it's really cynical the way now that Trump is now visiting there. But again, we've already been there, been there, done that. And, they say, imitation and flattery.
Yeah. Imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, is how it goes.
Or imitation and flattery.
Yes. Interesting that he brings up the Bronco there. The Bronco, the Bronco actually whispered in Fetterman's ear and said, "Take me back to my birthplace." This was not OJ's Bronco. This was the new Ford Bronco that's back out on the market.
What kind of drugs did he take before he did that interview, right?
Yeah, I know.
His Bronco was talking to him.
That's right.
He talked about ding-a-lings and humping legs.
And Broncos.
I have to say I like the mustache.
Do you?
I do.
John, would you, the Super Bowl, the Broncos and the Eagles, who are you going to root for?
The Eagles!
Thank you.
Tom W. on the YouTube chat says, it's bad when Greg is dressing better than a senator. That's a good point.
Tom.
Stocker's actually a really good dresser.
Thank you.
By the way.
Thank you very
much.
Occasionally
he'll throw on the music T-shirt, but for the most part, it's nice pants, cool little casual shoes, and
I dress the part.
Always a good, nice little button-up.
Hip look.
Yeah.
I dress the part.
By the way, a lot of people have been saying are you going permanent with the beard for the fall as it gets chillier?
I might. Yeah. It's been the longest. You know what's funny?
Never seen it this thick from you.
You know what's funny? My wife won't even acknowledge the fact that I have it now. she's
accustomed to it?
She's just hoping that I just come out of the shower one day with it completely shaved off.
Yeah.
So funny.
But yeah, she's not I don't think she's a huge fan of it, but
Do you shave your beard in the shower?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Why
I do the sink.
No, you did the shower.
I do my head in the shower.
You have one of those nice mirrors that don't fog up. Those fog-free mirrors.
Yeah.
You do it right there.
Yeah.
No.
No, I don't do it in the shower. No, I do it in the sink. But I'm not shaving my full beard though. I'm just kind of trimming around the edges. So
yeah, no, I get it.
It won't clog up. I clogged it once though. Had to have the apartment maintenance people come up because the Drano I put in didn't work.
As far as that not being Fetterman, Peter S. on the YouTube chat writes, "Oh, come on. They just happened to find another 6'8" goofy-looking person. Did they put out an ad for 6'8" people?" Well, that's the funny thing about this is, like, that's not Fetterman. I mean, people that look like him don't grow on trees.
Who is it? King Kong Bundy? Is it Butterbean? It's not like, you're right. You just can't go to the tree of Fetterman and pluck another one off.
Yeah. Mind Your Manners says that I have a Viking vibe. Like a Viking, not the team, the Vikings, but the Vikings.
Like a Nordic.
Yeah,
like my people.
Well, because of the blonde hair. Yeah. That's the one issue of why I always that and the fact that I'm blonde, so I can't really grow a good beard.
Right.
But I never did the beard thing because I have so much hair that it's just my head is just hair.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's like facial hair.
You'd be like a big chia pet.
Long hair.
You can grow your own stalker with this water 3 times a day. And the beard is a little darker than the hair. You almost have like a ginger beard with the blonde hair.
Is it? No, it's not ginger.
I
It's
don't
blonde,
think
isn't it?
Yeah, for the most part, it matches your hair, but
somebody asked me the other day if I dye my hair. No, I don't.
Yeah,
it's blonde. This is the normal color. This is the real color of my hair. I promise you. Mike Carr says some guys do it in the shower, some guys do it in the sink.
That's right. Put that on the board.
Are you familiar with Bob Odenkirk, the actor? He's Saul, Better Call Saul. Okay. I know him from Mr. Show.
No,
Mr. Show. With, you don't know Bob Odenkirk?
No, it's not ringing a bell unless I see him here.
If you see him, you
okay.
You.
The name doesn't register though.
So he was a writer for SNL. He's a funny guy. He did Mr. Show with the dude from Arrested Development. I'm blanking on his name, but he's been around.
What era of SNL did he write for? The funny era?
No, he was mid 90s.
Okay, that's a good era.
Mid-90s
that's the Sandler Spade era, Farley.
I mean, like, you love him on Breaking. Did you watch Breaking Bad?
Yeah, Breaking Bad, of course.
He's Saul.
Yeah,
he's Saul Goodman.
Oh, he's the attorney. You know who he is.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay.
By the way, the
Wait,
movie
he was
Nobody.
A writer?
Oh,
I'm sorry.
No, he was a writer
on SNL.
Yeah,
and then he became that prominent in Breaking Bad.
Yep.
Okay.
By the way, the movie Nobody came out within the last 2 years. Actually, good movie.
Nobody.
Called Nobody.
Yeah, I
did. You see it?
Yeah, I didn't see it, but I saw.
It's actually good.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was on a podcast and he had a heart attack like a year or two ago. Maybe it was sooner. I don't remember. But he says that he ignored his doctor's advice because he was a conservative.
Ooh. That's not smart.
Cut 1.
My doctor was a conservative. He got crankier and crankier the older he got. I hated this side of him that I only learned over time. He said, "You need to start taking statins right now." And I said, "Well, I don't know. I don't have heart disease in my family." He goes, "Just take them." And I had a heart attack. And I think the first doctor was right.
Mm-hmm.
The cranky, conservative Jack was right because he was a good doctor.
Mm-hmm.
His political point of view doesn't have anything to do with his ability to judge your health and your health choices and needs.
Can you imagine?
Yeah. And by the way, I recognize Bob again here now, but yeah.
I love his voice.
That was he was on the Don't Ask Tig podcast.
Good for him for admitting that.
Tig Notaro.
Yep.
But are we really at this place now where we can't? I mean, if I have no idea what political affiliation my doctor is, nor do I care.
Correct. That's the thing I always say. Whether it's athletes, if it's entertainers, if it's a musician, medical personnel, an attorney, I really don't care what your politics are. I might disagree if I know. You just don't need to tell me, nor do you have to shove it down my throat. But I would never not take credible, respectable advice. Like, let's just say I had a health issue, and I went to one of the great university hospitals in this city. And this guy was the most woke progressive on the planet. He was the biggest fan of squad Democrats you can find. But he was the most highly regarded in his field. And he could prescribe something for me or do an operation or a procedure or a surgery. I would do it in a heartbeat. I even if he wanted to defund the police before he cut my chest open, I would say, you know what? Knock yourself out. Go ahead.
I just don't. I mean, maybe he had a good relationship with his doctor, but like, how do you get that far in with your doctor?
I know.
To know what they're like. Do either of you guys know what your political affiliation of your doctors are?
Well, number one, I can't get my doctor to show up on time for most of my appointments. They're always 38 minutes late. And then when they come in, they only spend like 7 minutes with you. Like, wait a minute. I just waited 2 hours. That's all you got, Doc?
But that's because you're healthy.
I know.
They might be late because they
can afford to be
dealing with an emergency or if they do surgery.
I know.
Depends on your doctor.
I'm just being a cranky conservative.
But he says he had the doctor for 20 years.
Yep.
And he knew he was a conservative because of signs. He'd been in his actual office.
Okay.
And so at Cedars-Sinai. So there were signs in the office and photos and things against Obamacare, which, by the way, a lot of doctors, even Democrat doctors, were against Obamacare initially. Because remember, we found out Obama lied, and in fact, you couldn't necessarily keep your doctor.
Pretty bold
Remember
move
that?
for the doctor to actually have political messaging up in the office. Usually you never see it. If you do see it occasionally, it's usually Democrat. It's very odd, or very, very infrequent that you would ever see that from the other side of the spectrum.
By the way, Peter M. on the YouTube chat has a very interesting comment here that I didn't think about. He says conservative doctors are more likely to question statins. Odenkirk's story doesn't fly with me.
Interesting. Well, yeah.
Is there like a...
More skeptical?
Is there a skepticism about if statins work or not? I've always heard they do.
Recently, there was a controversy about them.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I would love to poll all, and even if this was like a non-public poll without the names and identities of doctors revealed, I would love to know how many conservative doctors are also anti-vaccine or skeptical of vaccines. Because on one side, you might say, well, I don't really believe that young, healthy people need the COVID shot. Yet, if you're a doctor or you're in the medicine field, you know, your relationship and a partnership and connection to big pharma is kind of important. So I would love to see that kind of balance.
Yeah, the statin study was within COVID, by the way, and that was the one that said you may have an increased risk of diabetes and also some decreased cognitive abilities with the statin drugs.
Yeah.
But if you're like let's say you have a family history, then you have to just weigh that. So they did come out with some studies warning about statins. Just like, remember back in the day, they said, don't eat too many eggs in a day. It'll raise your cholesterol. And then they found out, oops, eat as many eggs as you want. So there have been contrasting studies.
And by the way, the Dr. Maz in me is coming out right now because when he said that about diabetes, my thinking is always like if you have to get on statins, it means you can't lower your cholesterol or triglycerides in a normal fashion, so you need a pill. So if you can't do that, it means you're eating crap, which might lead to diabetes.
Exactly.
Right?
Yep.
So it's not the statins,
right?
But statins are just something that people who might have diabetes need because they can't control their eating.
Yes.
Right.
I mean, that's a piece of it. The statins are, many call them wonder drugs, if it's under the care of a doctor and if you're eating healthy and trying to be fit, to Greg's point. And that's why some of these studies in a vacuum and the headlines may be misleading. It's a shame he didn't listen to his doctor, though. I'm glad he survived.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
One more and then we'll break. Ron DeSantis was asked over the weekend about apparently one of the, I don't know if it was an op-ed or something, but one of the criticisms of him is that he has no charisma and he's stiff. So Howard Kurtz asked him about that on Sunday, asking him to respond to the criticism about his charisma and stiffness. And this is what he said.
Well, I think some of that is manufactured. I mean, let's just be clear. I just won the greatest Republican victory in the history of Florida governor's elections. We have a lot of very strong support, and people appreciate that for sure. And so, I think that we do things where I'm out there, shaking the hands. Because remember, the media said, oh, he's a Florida guy. He's not going to go to Iowa and do that. And meanwhile, I've done more retail than anybody. We've got build support. But I will say this.
Your wife suggested...
But here's what I'd say, though. I mean, and I think the people that know me know that there's a bogus narrative, but there is a seriousness to what we face in this country right now. And when there are people out there that are, say, running fentanyl into our country that are killing our people, I'm going to be very tough with them. I'm not going to be nice to them. When we have people trying to sexualize the curriculum in our elementary schools, I'm going to be tough with those people. I'm not going to be nice to them. And so, you need to show that you have the strength to actually do the job and to stand for people and fight for them because they know it's not easy. Well, here's the thing I think that's different there. You have the bully pulpit. What happened to me in Florida was, I had a lot of hostile, too, a little bit different than a presidential. Sure. And the reason why I was able to do so well is because I just spoke directly to people in their communities. Whatever they said, the media had to play what I was saying at a press conference. So I think it's the same thing here. Our people know, like, this country has become unmoored from the truth. There's so much nonsense that circulates on social media. I think you've covered how some of the institutional press has gotten more into narrative building rather than just stick to the facts. So they know that when you're speaking to truth to them and they feel that, it is very powerful because there's so much deceit out there. But as the president, I'm out there delivering the message, and we will be out there, and we will be able to deliver that unfiltered. So we'll deal with the media.
So there's a couple of things there. I don't think anybody's questioning his toughness or the fact that he gets down to business and he's a policy paper champion. But the criticisms of the stiffness are completely valid and warranted. And what people want to see is that you're just not some ABC nuts and bolts by the book robotic politician without a human side. We want to see what your personality is. Where's your charisma? You need to be able to show, because you're going up against the ultimate personality champion in Donald Trump, who, oh, by the way, policy as well, very effective in his first 3 years. So I think it's absolutely not manufactured or a narrative. That's been one of my criticisms of DeSantis. You seem very awkward at times in settings where you need to kiss babies and slap backs. And he seems like a guy that, you know what he reminds me of? He reminds me of a guy that is used to working remotely, virtually, that doesn't know how to function like face to face. A lot of like a Gen Zer that can text you constantly but can't speak with you. That's DeSantis. And that works against him.
It does.
All right, cut sheet in the books, part due 1 hour from now. We'll come back, get Dawn's Big Three at 8:48, and then also Howard Stern on Lauren Boebert, and Donovan McNabb joins a social outlet that leans conservative. We're back after this on Kayal and Company.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. September is Cholesterol Education Month, and it's time to take charge. So how is your cholesterol? For over 38 years, Rescue Natural Supplements has been a trusted partner in cholesterol support. I've relied on Rescue supplements for years. With Rescue, you'll find specific supplements tailored to your needs. Favorites like omega-3s, red yeast rice, and more. Right now, all you have to do is just use the code DROP, D-R-O-P, to double up your order on any cholesterol product for free. Call today at 800-26-ALIVE, 800-262-5483. Speak to a knowledgeable product consultant or use the code online when you visit res-q.com, res-q.com. Again, use the code DROP, D-R-O-P, buy one, get a matching Rescue cholesterol product for free. I've personally seen the firsthand benefits of Rescue supplements. They are incredible. Remember, use the code DROP, D-R-O-P, to double up your cholesterol support order for free today.
You're out of breath. Have a constant dry cough that won't go away. It could be interstitial lung disease. ILD is rare, but it's serious. It can be the fight of your life. And you can't face the fight of your life if you don't know you're in it. Ask your doctor. Find a pulmonologist. Get answers. There's hope. There's help, but don't wait. Go to lungsandU.com/fight-ILD.
Crash-Proof Retirement's consumer protection policies require oversight through video recordings on all consumer meetings, which are then kept on file, proving a full fiduciary responsibility to the highest level. In fact, Crash-Proof Retirement is the only firm in the country that exercises this level of transparency, which delivers peace of mind to the everyday consumer.
I'm Patty Parentozzi from Lansdale, Pennsylvania. The thing that impressed me with the Crash-Proof Retirement System is that all of the meetings that we have are recorded. It's very comforting to know that because everything is videotaped, they have nothing to hide. They're doing this to protect you. They want you to know that what they say they mean.
Find out what your advisor is hiding from you. Invite them to join you for a recorded meeting at Crash Proof Retirement and see if they stand by the promises they made you on camera in our consumer-driven offices. 800-722-9728 or crashproofretirement.com.
Well, it's all right here. Parks Casino and Sportsbook. You know I love Parks. It's the only casino and sportsbook I ever recommend. They really do have it all. Action, excitement, entertainment, award-winning dining, plus some special discounts. And this is important for military, for our first responders, and medical professionals as well. Experience the open-air Liberty Bell Beer Garden. Unwind at the all-new Bamboo for happy hour every Sunday through Thursday for delectable specials, handcrafted cocktails. In the mood for a stylish dining experience, head to Parks Grill. Great for a date night. The Signature Steakhouse offering a unique menu of classic cuisine along with seasonal chef specials. Okay, savor the exceptional food, 24 rotating craft beers and cocktails in the Liberty Bell Beer Garden, which is really unique. It's an indoor open-air seating, so you feel like you're outdoors, but rain or shine, it's a beautiful place to be. 3,200 state-of-the-art slots, 115 table games. It's a lot of fun. The best sports book on the entire East Coast. And remember Joe Conklin's Comedy Night. I could go on and on. Don't miss some of the top headliners coming soon. This weekend, the Pointer Sisters. This Saturday, September 23rd, Buddy Guy. Friday, October 6th. Parks, the ultimate destination for action, excitement, entertainment. Plus, remember the free parking and the valet parking, electric, EV charging stations for all guests. For all things Parks Casino, visit parkscasino.com, PARX. And this is how you win. Must be 21. Gambling problem. Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Rich Zioli this afternoon, 3 till 7. Kayal and Company now on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app.
Was an early morning yesterday. I was up before the dawn. And I really have enjoyed my stay, but I must be moving on.
Kayal and Company, 8:47 here on this Tuesday morning. 1 hour out from our Disney keyword. That's coming up at 9:50. About 30 minutes away from our morning mystery movie clip. Another great prize for you. This segment brought to you by Holland Floor Covering, the region's premier flooring dealer. Family operated for over 50 years, providing exceptional service and professional installation. Visit their 2 showrooms in Wayne and Newtown. No charge samples, no obligation estimates. Learn more, hollandfloor.com. All right, 8:48 on this Tuesday morning as we get to Dawn Stensland's Big 3 at 8.
It's the Big 3 at 8 on Kayal and Company.
And Big 3 at 8, other headlines of the day. We are sponsored this morning. By Piazza Auto Group. So gas prices climbing to the highest level of the year thus far.
Great.
So I was looking at Philadelphia has reached in some spots in the city $4, but in Bucks, Montgomery, Chester looks like $3, 3.92. So we're almost there, but it's $3.90+ a gallon.
The Wawa
Ouch.
right next to me, $3.99. Yeah. I'm telling you, when I see that 4 pop up, I cringe.
Right?
I just literally want to vomit.
So nationally, we're well above the national average, according to AAA, which is $3.88 a gallon. And normally gas prices, usually after Labor Day, we cool off, right? After Labor Day. But the opposite is happening, obviously. And they're blaming Saudi Arabia and Russia's aggressive supply cuts lifting these oil prices. And so they're blaming the oil market, etc. This as world leaders are kicking off their annual UN meeting. President Joe Biden, other global leaders delivering remarks at the UN in New York, obviously.
Yeah, I gave you the gas prices in the big take. Under Joe Biden,
Yep.
$3.87 a gallon per average, and under Donald Trump, $2.38. $1.40, $1.50 difference.
$2.38.
Yeah.
Doesn't that sound sweet?
Feels like if I saw that today, I would think it's like 1995, right?
Yeah.
Like remember back in the day in the 90s when gas was like $1.09?
I remember in 90, I don't know if it was 98 or 99, there was a gas station right by me, and gas there was 89 cents.
Oh my God.
89 cents.
Do you know how many times I would drive my truck if I was
paying 89 cents a gallon of gas. I would do donuts on Broad Street and have a drag race.
Some might say that's the reason gas prices are as high as they are, Nick, because they don't want you doing that. You know?
Jerks.
And speaking of President Biden, Hunter Biden, why does he want to phone it in? So he is now battling federal prosecutors and trying to skip the in-person portion of his initial court appearance on the federal firearm charges. He wants to do, I guess, Zoom it in or phone it in. He wants to hold that first appearance via video conference.
Oh, he's scared to get COVID. I mean, nobody loves working virtual more than the left. They love Zoom. If it was up to them, they would have their entire life on virtual.
Well, now the deadline by the judge for today is no later than today. Hunter Biden's attorneys have to explain the why.
And
why.
by the way, speaking of Hunter Biden, and I know we mentioned it briefly yesterday about him suing the IRS for embarrassing them. There's part of me that actually loves Hunter Biden for this because I hate the IRS with a passion, but I realize my disdain for the Bidens is more. But think about the temerity it takes to not pay taxes and then sue the IRS saying that you embarrassed me because I didn't pay my taxes. I don't know I've ever heard of somebody suing the IRS over not paying their taxes.
Yeah.
This is a remarkable story, actually.
It is. And I will just say that Hunter Biden, in all of this, they're so effective in avoiding the fact that he was only charged with the gun charges. And all those other federal charges, like, doing business with foreign entities.
Yeah.
And that other Republicans that did get caught. Wasn't Steve Bannon? That's what had sent him to jail because he didn't report his dealings with federal entities. He went to jail for that.
The entitlement that just reeks of Hunter Biden is just so remarkable. You talk about being handed everything in life and thinking you don't have to be accountable to anything. I don't got to pay my child support. I don't got to pay my taxes. I can still get a gun despite having a crack pipe. Like, what?
Well said.
All
right. I was trying to look for a little lighter story. We talked about the bear in Bucks County. I think it's still on the loose.
Yes.
But did you hear that there was a wild black bear that forced a shutdown at Disney and the Magic Kingdom?
No.
So the bear was in the tree. And so Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission, they were called in to safely and effectively capture the big black bear who was up in that tree there. It was a female bear, mama bear, at Disney. And you know what? She's going to be released into a park. She's okay. But they did have to temporarily shut down the theme park and many of the rides just out of an abundance of caution. As Mama Bear was on the loose.
Interesting that they removed the bear from the tree at Disney. Yet there's a story out there that there are some characters at Disney World that dress up in costumes that have been doing a lot of sexualized gestures and dancing to the point where some parents are bothered by it.
Really?
Yeah. And I guess some of these Disney employees are under further review for their actions to their superior.
Oops.
Yeah. But we've removed the bear, but we can't get the perverts out. Get DeSantis on line one. We got to change that right now.
Were they pervs or were they teenagers like dancing where the trend is to like grab yourself or whatever?
I have the story right here. I was gonna save it for later in the week. Talk amongst yourselves.
Talk amongst yourselves.
Yeah,
Discuss.
It is. It's a very interesting one too. So just give me here we go. Disney investigating after costume-clad employees are caught twerking and simulating sex acts. Former Disney Channel star is accused of twerking and providing sexualized...
Miley Cyrus? She's a former Disney employee.
No. But by the way, this is not in Florida. This is at Disneyland in California, which is the Disney that Zioli went to last year. So this was not the Florida one. So this would actually be in Gavin Newsom's wheelhouse, so it'll be permitted and allowed to continue.
Yeah, but I'm just going to say, our own Daniel Valdez, I know worked at theme parks, but if a teenager who's hired or a college student is twerking and dancing, I don't think that's the same as a pervert per se, right? It's somebody who's not representing Disney very well.
Right. Well, but if you have your little kids there at 7 years old, I'm not sure you want to see Snoopy twerking.
Right. I'm not.
Although Valdez,
Minnie Mouse was humping Mickey's leg. Oh, gee.
based on Valdez's physical characteristics at 5'1", 120, like Mr. Cavalcante, Valdez would make a great costume character at Disney.
Oh, that's true.
Can you imagine him in that little suit?
Daniel, would you like to defend
All
yourself?
sweaty and ticked off underwear.
Not being a costume character?
I'm too tall to be a costume character.
Dorenzo would hurt himself if he was one.
Yeah.
He would tear his ACL the first day.
Oh.
What's the theme park you worked at, Daniel?
I still work there. It's Dorney Park.
Oh.
You still work at Dorney?
He's up at Dorney.
Yeah, I do their Halloween stuff now.
Yeah.
Cool.
But-
So this Halloween, you'll be at Dorney Park.
You're not the guy that
Yes.
like walks around and says, all right, your seatbelt's good, and you make sure you're fastened. Like, you're not that guy, are you?
That's what I started out doing.
Oh, man.
In 2017, and then I switched over to what I do now.
I can see Valdez
moved
being
on up.
Yeah. I can see Valdez being the guy, too, that holds the big red stick that says, yeah, you got to be 48 inches to ride this.
It was me at one point.
Yeah. I knew it.
You got to start somewhere, boss.
Of course.
Making kids cry because they're 46 and a half inches and you're taking the job too seriously.
No, it was more their parents asking me why they're not tall enough.
By the way, Daniel's work ethic is amazing.
It is.
Yes.
Like he's up
Yeah.
he's up at the crack of dawn for this job.
Yep.
He's doing the Dorney Park thing. Like he's working it.
Yeah,
It's gonna pay off for you, kid.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just keep grinding, kid.
But would you, if you were a costume character, what happens if you dance a little erotically or twerking? Would you, what would happen? Daniel?
I mean, probably get in trouble, but we kind of have like one of those shows for Halloween, and it's part of the choreography.
Yeah. You ever been to Dorney Park, by the way?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, it's like a sanctuary city. They just bring everybody in by bus.
That they do. They bus.
They
them
just come in from New York.
and New Jersey.
You're so true.
Day at the beach at Dorney.
It's like
I love it.
I was gonna say.
It's very true.
I'm just gonna keep my mouth shut, but you are correct on that. All right, we need to get out here.
Oh,
What
we
do
have
do?
to get out. So that
What's
was
your
the
sponsor?
bear. All right, we are sponsored. Visit Piazza Volkswagen of Ardmore, Langhorne to test drive the 23 Volkswagen Atlas, Atlas Cross Sport, Tiguan, much more. Shop online, piazzavw.com today. Thank you, Piazza Auto Group, for sponsoring our Big Three.
All right, Dawn, thank you very much. Donovan McNabb and Howard Stern in the news. We'll get to both when we come back, but right now, Dawn Stensland with a word for QC Kinetics.
Yeah, because QC Kinetics, it is a life changer. What am I talking about here? Because you get to live again without suffering in that chronic joint pain, without drugs, and that means no surgery here, okay? QC Kinetics is advanced regenerative medicine, so they take your body's own concentrated healing properties, put them right into your joint, directly into that joint that's aching, which restores and repairs your damaged tissue that's causing you all of that horrible pain. So the patient satisfaction reports are astonishing. Finally, a real alternative to the old ways of dealing with pain. Unlike surgery, there's no downtime with QC treatments. So if you're suffering with that constant pain, just suffering in agony, your knees, your hips, your shoulder, your back makes you grumpy, stops you from doing all the things you love to do, just call, get a free consultation from the medical professionals at QC Kinetics today. And just think about it. On a sunny fall day like today, just go out, do everything you love to do with nothing holding you back. Just call QC Kinetics, see how the latest advances in precision regenerative medicine attack your pain and bring you that lasting relief. Right now's the best time. Get started, and they're right here in our region, in Philadelphia and beyond the suburbs, South Jersey. Just call 215-999-3000, 215-999-3000, 215-999-3000, QC Kinetics. Tell them Dawn sent you.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano, and I'm inviting you to join me in Wildwood, New Jersey this Friday, September 22nd at Mulligan Shore Bar. And my special guest host that day, Hollywood leading man Kelsey Grammer. That's right, Kelsey Grammer will be my guest live and on site for the show at Mulligan's in Wildwood. Join me and the crew for a fun-filled day this Friday at Mulligan Shore Bar in Wildwood, New Jersey with guest host Kelsey Grammer. Visit Mulligan's on Facebook at Mulligan Shore Bar for details.
This Merrill Reese update is brought to you by PNC Bank. Make today the day.
I'm not worried about the less than perfect performances by the Eagles so far. They're 2-0 in anything can happen September games. My only concern is the injuries to a team that does everything possible to protect the players. The one positive is they have a long break to heal before Monday night's game at Tampa Bay. Nothing plays a bigger role in a team's success. With the Eagles, this is Merrill Reese. The 2-minute warning, the caution flag, the 4. PNC Bank believes in the power of a helpful watch out. That's why they created low cash mode, the new financial watch out that gives you multiple options and at least 24 hours of extra time to help avoid overdraft fees. Low cash mode on virtual wallet from PNC Bank. Available in all virtual wallet products. To learn more, visit pnc.com/low cash mode. PNC Bank, National Association, member FDIC.
Volvo Finance, in concert with Cherry Hill Volvo, is offering lease and cash bonuses up to $2,500. Purchase or lease a new XC40 or XC90 through Volvo Finance and through Cherry Hill Volvo and receive this additional bonus along with the aggressive pricing already posted on our Cherry Hill Volvo website. This is a special offer and it is not to be missed. Volvo Finance and Cherry Hill Volvo and you, a perfect partnership.
When you need to know, depend on KYW News Radio 103.9 FM.
5 freed Iranian Americans are now in U.S. custody as part of a deal with Iran. Plans are being worked out to rebuild East Side High in Camden, and the Philadelphia Ballet is entering the 2023 fall season.
Get the latest anytime on KYW News Radio. Now on Crystal Clear 103.9 FM.
You've never needed us more. Heart failure, carpal tunnel syndrome, shortness of breath, stomach issues, lower back pain. How does it all add up? If you have heart failure and any of those seemingly unrelated symptoms sound familiar, it's time to talk with your cardiologist and get the full picture. They may add up to transthyretin amyloid cardiomyopathy. ATTR-CM is a rare and underdiagnosed disease. Recognize the signs and discuss them with your doctor soon. Learn more at connectwithyourheart.com. That's connectwithyourheart.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
From local town councils to Capitol Hill, agents who are realtors are standing up for what's right. We're here protecting property rights. Here advocating for the issues that affect our neighborhoods. Here championing fair and equitable housing for all. Because we are realtors, bound by a code of ethics, driven to serve our communities. We're here for it all. Here for you. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. That's who we are.
Calling on Percy to follow Talk Radio 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app.
Download it now.
Kayal and Company, baby, 9:03. Tuesday morning, fourth and final hour is underway. Morning mystery movie clip in about 17 minutes. Another great prize for you on the way. Dawn's Big Three at 9:30. The cut sheet part due. Keyword at 9:50. Action-packed final hour. If you have missed any of the show this morning, where are you? Because
we start at 6 a.m.
But if 6 a.m. is too early for you, you can get the big take. The Republicans, the GOP, and their failure to utilize TikTok. Also, Schumer dumps a dress code for the Senate. John Fetterman and everybody, they're all allowed to look like bums now. Philadelphia is ditching the banning the supervised drug sites. We talked about that. Also, some stuff on the writer's strike. Elon to start charging everybody to use Twitter. So a lot of good stuff. And also DeSantis being accused of being a stiff, which in many regards, in many different settings, is very accurate. So go back, download the Odyssey app, watch us on YouTube, however you get us, and get caught up to speed. A couple of things to hit on here in the final hour. And we're going to actually, and we spent a lot of time also talking about the Lauren Boebert fiasco from the theater in Colorado. You're going to actually hear some of the biggest hypocrisy you'll ever hear. We'll play that for you in a couple of minutes. Howard Stern had some thoughts on Lauren Boebert, which is really interesting, and we'll play that for you in about 5 minutes here. But I think this is a fascinating story, and it's a bit of a local angle. Donovan McNabb, former great Eagles quarterback, he's been out of the media for a little bit. He was with ESPN for a while, and then I know he had like a couple of DUIs. McNabb likes to sauce a little bit, and this is why he puts on a little bit of the weight in the face. Yeah, me and number 5 have a little bit in common there, although I've never had a DUI, nor would I just drink at home.
But
Did Donovan have a DUI?
yeah, back in I think he lives in Arizona, or he had a home in Arizona, and he had a couple of brush ups with that. I think at least one. But he's never really, honestly, there's a lot of guys from that Eagles Super Bowl team 20 years ago that went into media. Brian Westbrook, Brian Dawkins, Jeremiah Trotter, McNabb. McNabb hasn't really caught on. He was on ESPN's NFL Countdown show for a little bit. But he's been hired by Outkick, which is the conservative site owned by Clay Travis. Fox News ended up buying it because it was worth a lot of money. And while, Clay does mostly politics now, him and Buck Sexton are the successors to the Rush Limbaugh show. The Outkick site has sports and entertainment and some gambling stuff. So they brought in McNabb, and he will be doing a show starting today, Tuesday, September 19th, called Outkicks the 5 Spot with Donovan McNabb. And episodes for the 5 Spot will come out every Tuesday and Friday. So McNabb joins the network. Clay Travis says, Donovan McNabb is an NFL legend who I always enjoyed watching, except when he played against the Titans. I'm ecstatic to have him as a teammate now. He'll be a great addition to Outkick, where we are continuing to build a unique home for the most insightful personalities in sports media who are free to speak their minds. And I think really that's kind of what Outkick is. Most of their political people are certainly conservative. I think their sports people are usually Republican as well, but I don't think Clay's beholden. He just wants people that just believe in free speech and say what they truly feel without offending anybody, which is why I bring this up, because Donovan McNabb might be the most thin-skinned Philadelphia athlete I can ever recall. I mean, remember in the early 2000s, Rush Limbaugh was brought on to ESPN on their Sunday NFL Countdown show. And remember the big controversy around Rush and McNabb and the racial profiling, so to speak, of McNabb as a quarterback. And McNabb was always a mobile quarterback, used his athleticism. And then when he started hearing people say, well, he can't do it from the pocket. And why is it that the black quarterback always runs? Like, he got offended by that and then tried to be something he really wasn't, which was a truly great elite quarterback in the pocket. And there was the whole fallout. I forget what year that was. I want to say 05, 06, somewhere in that area. So it's a very interesting hire that a outlet like Outkick that believes in free speech and you go say whatever you want and don't you dare worry about offending anybody. And they hire Donovan McNabb, the most offended player of all time.
He was just fired by Fox Sports, wasn't he?
Was he really? I didn't even know he was at Fox Sports.
I think I'm reading
okay.
Bleacher Report. Donovan McNabb suspended by Fox Sports indefinitely following DUI arrest.
Well, I knew he had a DUI.
That was July of 2015.
Okay. Yeah, I knew he had the DUI. I didn't know that Fox actually hired him. I knew he was at ESPN for a while. McNabb says, I've always been a fan of Outkick. I'm excited to take the next step in my career off the field hosting the 5 Spot. I look forward to providing my analysis of games every week and interviewing former players and coaches. Can't wait to get started. So it looks like he will be specifically in a sports setting and context. I don't think McNabb is conservative. I could be wrong, but I'd be willing to bet he's not. But I'd be interested to see if he ever, maybe he goes on social media, or maybe he expands it out, and grows beyond sports and gets into other stuff that we talk about on this show, news, politics, some pop culture, some entertainment. But I just found that, A, it's a local story.
Yeah.
B, it's a conservative outlet. And
it is interesting.
Donovan is not the free speech type guy.
I mean, you think of other people that work for Outkick. It's Tommy Lahren. It's like people like that.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And to add Donovan McNabb to that list,
it's an odd fit.
It is.
It really is.
Clay Travis is a smart guy. I think he's doing. I think he's doing a good job with what he's doing, and it's an interesting hire. People remember him. They like him. I mean,
you know what I would really like to do. I know. Yeah, it's a good point. Yeah. We air right around 5:55 or so. Some days you'll hear it as the Fox News rundown is ending. You'll hear an Outkick commentary.
Yep.
I would love to see if we can get, and I don't know if he'll talk politics, and if he doesn't, that's fine. But with them, linked to conservative and free speech and talk radio, I'd love to try to get McNabb on in a non-football setting.
I will try.
That would be great.
I will try. And by the way, non-football setting, agreed, but also to come on and talk some Eagles stuff.
And then the YouTube chat can get all ticked off. And,
oh my God, they're talking sports.
It's to make it worse. They brought on the quarterback I hate. He's not Nick Foles.
Yeah, and I know that when that all went down in 2003, and ultimately
You're talking about the Rush stuff?
Yeah,
Okay.
ESPN and Limbaugh parted ways after that.
Right.
But I think, that was maybe before we ever talked about cancel culture.
Oh, yes.
But I think what Limbaugh, if you look back at what he said, it would be great if Donovan McNabb came on and you played the comment all these years later, to look back on that.
Yeah.
Because ultimately, was Limbaugh talking about Donovan, or was he talking about the fact that the media and or the NFL, the hype surrounding him, his point was that the defense carried him.
Mm-hmm.
That was, I think, Limbaugh's point.
Right. Which is a couple of things on that, too, is McNabb is super passive-aggressive, so he won't like to talk about stuff like that when asked, but when he's rambling on and on, he'll reference it, and he'll throw a subtle jab. That's one of the reasons why McNabb was so disliked at times, is he was very passive-aggressive. But think about the Rush Limbaugh thing for a moment. Well before cancel culture, for sure. 10, 12 years before that even became a thing. But also where we are now. I mean, ESPN is super left-wing, super progressive. But 20 years ago, they had the most notorious conservative talk radio host coming on to talk sports on a network.
I know.
Which would never happen in a million years today.
That's a great point. It's a great point.
You talk about the changing, the polarization and the toxicity of politics and media. Look where we are 20 years later.
Yep, it's a great point.
855-839-1210. And speaking of polarizing in the media, we spent a lot of time in the last couple of days. A lot of people want to talk about it. The Lauren Boebert story, the Colorado theater, we call it Gropegate. I believe Stalker has dubbed it that. And look, that guy wanted to get his hands on some bobes. I got it. Boebert, exactly. But Howard Stern, we got to play you this audio. I mean, let's be real. And I think anybody that consumed Stern in his heydays knows that, he said what he thought, or at least we thought at the time, and his show was very sexual in nature.
Do you think?
It
Very
was
sexual.
raunchy.
It was
if
raunchy.
he had Lauren Boebert on there, he'd say, "Congresswoman, can you show me those?"
Yes. Can you
That's
come
what he
over
would
here and
say.
spank me?
He used to throw baloney at girls' butts.
That's correct. So we know Howard's
great
lost
bit.
his mind. Yeah,
Great
it
bit.
was.
Sorry.
He's scared to death of COVID. He doesn't leave his house, and apparently he's not into females and sex either. So take a listen. Here's the former king of all media on the Lauren Boebert disaster.
Lauren Boebert is a disgrace to this country, not because of the video. You are 100% right. Forget the politics. She's in a dress. If you saw the video, she's in a dress. She's with some dude. Looks like she's, obviously vaping, but also looks like she might be grabbing his penis during Beetlejuice. And he's playing with her.
It's a sexy play.
It's a very erotic play, evidently. I remember the movie. It was nothing sexy about it.
You didn't grab anybody during the movie.
I guess the play is much hotter. But she was wearing a tight titty dress. I've seen porn stars wear more. And this dude that she's with is playing with her during it. They're having a party. And, I mean, take away the politics. Jesus Christ. She's fun. I mean, I'd like to be at a play.
Do you want your Congress people to be fun or serious?
No, you're mixing. If you want me to talk about her as a congressperson, first of all, she's a liar. She was denying that she vaped, didn't even know what vaping was. But then when they found the video, I'm so sorry. I mean, what is
I've
with
fallen
that?
short of my own standards.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
It's interesting. It feels to me like he's trying to destroy and crush Boebert, yet at the same time, I felt like there was little stretches there where he's kind of the same old Howard Stern of, wow, look at her, and she and I would like to, oh, man, how about that? I guess this is the question. Is Stern, is this the real Stern,
Yes.
or was 1992 the real
this
Stern?
Is
You think
really
this is
him.
the real Stern?
By the way, that clip was him trying to be a little shocking by repeating the T word over and over again.
Which
so
is not something he does a lot anymore.
Sometimes you take this. No, it is.
Is it?
It is, yeah. So you have to take this with kind of a grain of salt. Like yes, I think his political dislike for her is getting in the way of this because, he's a huge hypocrite because he used to, as we said, have women do all kinds of degrading things.
Mm-hmm.
And years ago, he would have been cheering this on. But I also really believe that it was him trying to be a little edgy by repeating the T word.
So you still think he's got the raunchy element to his
He does.
on-air persona?
Yes. I'll occasionally listen to a Sirius XM show. It's not the show it was in the 90s.
Okay.
But it
But
yes,
from a political correctness standpoint, other than the fact that he's gone super left,
the
and he's
C
a
word
COVID
is
nut.
used all the time. The T word is used all the time. No, I mean it's still a raunchy show. He just doesn't delve into.
Does he do anything race-based anymore? So he's gotten rid of that too.
All of that stuff is out the window.
Okay.
But I just think that this is you can say he's a hypocrite for having this opinion on her. But I also think that it was a very calculated move. He knew what he was saying.
Well, and that's why I ask, because with this pivot from being anti-establishment, and he was defiant to the authorities for so many years, so to speak, and now he becomes kind of like a mouthpiece to the left with certain topics. Is this truly him, or is this him seeing the lay of the land and the climate changing? And I'm talking about just the way life has to be lived in the politically correct woke world we live in. Is this him just saying, you know what, I can extend my career by being more accepted by the left?
Yeah, he made a calculated decision.
But he
years
was
ago.
never canceled. Like was he ever at a point where he was in danger of truly being canceled?
No. Michael Pelka sent me, and it's gone around numerous times, but the meme of him dressed up as Ted Danson in blackface with Sherman Hemsley, who's playing Whoopi Goldberg, and he says the N-word over and over and over again. Now, again, this was on pay-per-view. He did this, so you had to pay to see it, and he was mimicking what Ted Danson did in the early 90s, where he was in blackface.
Okay.
So, like, if you look at all of it in context, he was just spoofing Ted Danson. But we've come to a place now where any sort of blackface of anything, you're immediately canceled.
Well, unless you're Jimmy Fallon.
And he
or
hasn't
Jimmy
been.
Kimmel.
Jimmy Fallon hasn't been. Jimmy Kimmel hasn't been. Sarah Silverman had a little dust up with it. She apologized, so I guess that was. But yes, there are celebrities that are uncancelable, and he's one of them.
Yeah. I just love the hypocrisy, especially when we talk about things like race, where the left is able to get a second chance when they did something 20, 30 years ago because everybody keeps receipts and it's okay. But surprisingly enough, with pop culture, one person was not so lucky. Jan Wenner, the founder. Jan, okay. Left-wing founder of Rolling Stone, apparently insulted black and women musical artists in an interview with the New York Times. But as a result, the board and the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, which they helped launch.
He founded.
Kicked him out.
I know. Yeah, it was. So Jan Wenner has he's an interesting guy. He's a huge lefty, but he's a really interesting guy. He's gay.
Okay.
He wasn't always gay. He was married to a woman for a long time, and then in the 90s he came out as gay and married his partner or whatever.
Gotcha.
And he wrote a biography about himself like 2 years ago, and now he has a new book coming out called Masters, where he has interviews with Bob Dylan, John Lennon, Jerry Garcia, Mick Jagger, all the classic rock icons. He calls them Masters. And the interviewer, who's trying to bait him, asked him why there was no women or people of color involved in his masters list, and I'm using that in quotation.
Yeah.
And he basically said, because women aren't as articulate and aren't as good, and it's the African American music type of music is not my thing. And he said it, and he realized when he was saying it, because I read the interview. He tried to backtrack it. It wasn't the most well thought out thing to say,
and he got whacked.
But the backlash on it has been huge. So at this point, he's 77. He doesn't care.
Right.
By the way, in that same interview, they did bring up the Virginia, was it Virginia? The University of Virginia, the
shooting?
No, the rape, story.
Oh, Loudoun County.
Yeah, that happened. That they. It
was never a hookup.
Yeah, that they never. That turned out to be false.
Okay.
And he said, he defended it, saying that, look, we, from our point of view, it was a good story, and sometimes you get stuff wrong. So all of that stuff was brought up, but he's look, Look, he's 77. He has nothing to do with Rolling Stone anymore. I think his son runs it or something.
Okay.
So I don't think he really cares. He's hanging out at his house in the Hamptons and doesn't really care what people think of him.
Right.
So, but yeah, it is interesting to see him kind of fall by the wayside.
All right. 9:20 on the dot. Time for the Morning Mystery Movie Clip.
And now, the Morning Mystery Movie Clip on Kayal Company. Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
We're not going to do better next year.
Why not?
Well, you know we're being gutted. We're losing Giambi, Damon, Isringhausen. Done deal. We're in trouble.
You'll find new guys. You found Jason. You found Damon.
I need more money, Steve.
Billy.
I need more money.
We don't have any
I
more
can't
money,
compete
Billy.
against a $120 million payroll with $38 million.
But we're not going to compete with these teams that have big budgets. We're going to work within the constraints that we have, and you're going to get out and do the best job that you can recruiting new players. We're not going to pay $17 million a year to players.
I'm not asking you.
Think you know what it is? Be call at 12 at 855-839-1210, and you could win this great prize.
All right, and just to clarify, by the way, for those wondering, that was not exclusive audio of Greg Stocker asking for a bigger budget in an Odyssey corporate meeting and being told you get what you get. That was a movie, a very good sports movie, if I may say so myself. Caller 12-855-839-1210. If you can identify that movie clip, we'll get a 4-pack of tickets to see the Battleship New Jersey and tour it in Camden, New Jersey. For more information, visit battleshipnewjersey.org. Caller 12-855-839-1210. See if we have our winner when we come back. Kayal Company, Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Lose weight and feel great with NJ Diet. NJ Diet uses DNA and blood work to help you lose weight and keep it off. Tune into the radio show Sunday at 2 or visit njdiet.com.
Hey, it's Rich. Zioli. Cape May is amazing in the fall, especially at the Oceanfront Grand Hotel. Book your midweek getaway today and save 10% off all rack rates. Plus, stay 2 nights, get a $100 resort credit. 3 nights, $150 resort credit. 5 nights gets you a $200 resort credit. You can use your credits the way you want. Food and beverage purchases at Hemingway's Restaurant. Christine's Gift Shop. Valid October 1st through December 21st. Book direct with them for the best rates. Call 800-257-8550 or grandhotelcapemay.com.
Hi, I'm Martha Stewart. Every year, more than 4 million pets enter shelters here in the United States. Many of these animals are rescued from desolate conditions. My friends at American Humane have been helping animals for more than 140 years. They help ensure that pets have a safe, warm shelter during times of need, especially during natural disasters. But pets need forever homes too. Adopting a shelter pet enriches the lives of one's family and allows shelters to help more animals awaiting care. Consider adopting today and take some time to learn more about American Humane's other work, including their efforts to rescue animals in need, certify the humane treatment of farm animals, help ensure the safety of animals on the silver screen, and protect our planet's amazing endangered species at AmericanHumane.org.
You got the alert this morning. Now get the whole story. Count on NBC 10 News today.
It's more than just headlines. It's news to get you ready for your day.
If you need motivation, here we go. We've got your playbook.
The most accurate hour-by-hour weather forecasts.
Traffic info to get you there and back easier. It's all you need to get up, get ahead, and stay ahead.
Make your mornings count with NBC 10 News today. Count on it.
Drowning in IRS debt? If you can't afford to pay your IRS debt due to economic hardship, you can now be free of IRS collection efforts by taking advantage of a special IRS tax hardship program. This program allows Americans who owe the IRS to resolve their delinquent tax debt once and for all. In some cases, maybe even reducing what you owe significantly. An open phone line has been established by Community Tax for consumers to call and see if they qualify. Simply dial 800-269-3454 3454. If you owe back taxes to the IRS and cannot afford to pay them back or have years of unfiled tax returns, help is standing by. Just call the Community Tax Helpline today at 800-269-3454 for the help that you need. Don't take on the IRS alone. They can attack your wages, savings, pension, home, and even your Social Security check. Call 800-269-3454 to see if you qualify. That's 800-269-3454.
WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3 Philadelphia. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
So many listeners are enjoying beautiful, easy-to-maintain homes thanks to Rhino Shield, and you can too. Dom Giordano here with my good friend, the local owner of Rhino Shield. John, take it away.
Hello, it's John from Rhino Shield. For years, you've heard about our exclusive elastomeric ceramic house paint with the unheard of 25-year warranty. Today, I want to ask you, do you need to paint your home? Maybe even been putting it off for too long? If your answer is yes, then ask yourself if you want to paint it one last time, or if you want to be painting it again in 5 or 6 years. Rhino Shield can make your next paint job your last. Rhino Shield is waterproof, protects your home, is affordable, and looks great on any exterior surface. Let Rhino Shield show you how you can be done with frequent painting. Call us today at 484-406-5111 for a free consultation. That's 484-406-5111.
Hi, I'm Rachel, and I have a serious heart condition called hypertrophic cardiomyopathy, or HCM. Some symptoms include being short of breath, feeling tired, or having dizziness or chest pain. I still had symptoms on my beta blocker, so I asked my cardiologist about any treatment advances. It was a breakthrough for me. That's why I'm working with Bristol Myers Squibb to raise awareness about HCM and to help others like me. Talk to your cardiologist today. You may be glad you did.
Sponsored by Bristol Myers Squibb.
When big corporate banks make a decision, it can take multiple calls and a lot of patience to get an answer. When we make a banking decision, it's over a cup of coffee in our office. Discover the value of personal bankers and real relationships with First Bank. First Bank is excited to join forces with Malvern Bank in understanding your financial goals for success. Experience the difference of real relationships. Connect with our team today at firstbankpa.com or stop in and say hi at any of our 26 First Bank branches. First Bank is an equal opportunity lender and member FDIC.
Do you know your numbers? What numbers? Your heart health numbers, your blood pressure, your cholesterol, your blood sugar, and your body mass index. They're important, so ask your doctor. Learn your numbers, and if something doesn't seem right with them, see a Deborah specialist at one of our offices throughout South Jersey. After all, when it's your heart, you don't take chances. Find a specialist near you at demanddeborah.org.
Exergen thermometers are a top choice of medical professionals at highly rated hospitals across the U.S. Accuracy matters, so make Exergen the chosen thermometer for your home and family.
Keep free speech alive. Follow 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
Kayal and Company, 9:28, Tuesday morning. Nick, Dawn, and Greg, Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Dawn's Big Three coming up in just about 2 minutes. Cut sheet part due. Keyword for Disney, free trip to Disney World. Think about that. You just listen at 9:50. We give you a stinking word. You go to a website and you could go to Disney for free. Not sure what else you want in this lifetime. 855-839-1210. Maybe Valdez dressed up as Mickey Mouse twerking in your lap. Be pretty good. I'd pay $5 for that. Not for it to be done to me, but just to see Valdez do that. All right, let's get Bob in Malvern in here. He's our morning mystery movie clip winner this morning, and he's identified the movie clip we just played for you. Bob, good morning. What movie did we just air for you?
Hi, good morning. Yeah, it's Moneyball.
That is correct. Yes, little Billy Bean, Oakland A's action back from the early 2000s. That is correct. Congratulations. You got the 4-pack of tickets for the Battleship New Jersey in Camden. Thank you very much, Bob.
Nice. Thank you.
You got it. There he is, in, out, on his way, and he's got something he didn't have before, which was a 4-pack of tickets. You know, we read we read all of the negative comments on this show, right?
We do, yeah.
Twitter, Instagram, YouTube.
Yeah, the easiest way to be read on the YouTube chat or Twitter is to insult one of us, especially me.
Yeah, criticize Greg,
my own,
rip me for my grammar.
Yep.
Leave Dawn out of it, which most people do. But I want to read this email that was just sent to me from Steve in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. Stalker sending me this instant feedback, which, by the way, seems like everybody has Greg's email address.
Well, my email is on the website. That's why.
Okay. So Steve says, good morning. I listened to WIP in the morning show with Angelo Cataldi for over 30 years before Angelo retired. I now listen to you guys.
Wow.
And your show is tremendous.
Thank you, Steve. I appreciate that.
How about this? Nick and Greg run for president and vice president of the country. Dawn could be your advisor.
Well, I'll be the advisor. You two can run. You two
Yeah,
can
me and
duke it
Dawn
out.
on a ticket. Dawn and I on a ticket, however you would say it.
I think Dawn should be ahead of you.
I agree.
No offense, Nick.
She says, you guys are great, honest, and down to earth. We listeners got your back. And he spelled you are.
I love that, yeah.
You can do it.
Right.
Sincerely, Steve from Cherry Hill. So Dawn,
Thanks, Steve.
Dawn will run as president, and I'll be her first lady.
Well, he wanted me to be the advisor.
No, I want
it's
you to be the president.
I'm rearranging. I'm the advisor.
Yeah.
You can be the president. Nick can be your first lady.
Stalker will tell us to stop tweeting. Imagine if Trump had Stalker years ago. Can you stop putting out tweets?
Yeah, he would have definitely fired me. There's no question he would have fired me.
So nice work out of Steve. We appreciate
Thanks,
that.
Steve.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right, 9:31. Let's get to Dawn Stenzelin's Big Three at 9.
It's the Big 3 at 9 on Kayal & Company.
Big 3 at 9, sponsored by the Bet Parks Pennsylvania Derby at Parks PRX Racing. So number 1, within less than half an hour, President Joe Biden, as well as Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, are set to speak this morning at the UN, the United Nations General Assembly. And earlier this morning, Joe Biden had a big fundraiser in the name of bringing back Broadway. So I don't know. We will watch for whether or not New Yorkers will boo Biden.
The hell with that.
Because not very popular in New York, as the reason they have to bring Broadway back is because they have a crisis, as we've been reporting, with all of the elite, more than 100,000 illegals coming into New York City. This is not popular.
If you're Eric Adams, you just got to get on the bat phone right away and be like, get Joe on this phone right now. That's what I'm doing. And while you're at it, get Mayorkas on the line, too. What's he doing? That's what I would be doing.
Now, number 2, and now that I see the whole story, I actually wish I had seen this at 6 o'clock this morning when we started talking about one Lauren Boebert, who everybody's talking about. Her Representative Lauren Boebert's estranged husband is begging people to please give her a chance.
Oh.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, that's see now that look, you know,
he's blaming his own cheating behavior and putting her through a devastating divorce.
Nice work out of that man.
This is a stand-up guy. He
I
says
agree.
he's still in love with her.
Aw.
Says she's the love of his life.
The Bobes.
And
Mr.
that
Bobes.
essentially he's taking full responsibility for the breakdown of the marriage. He says, I was unfaithful to Lauren. And
Boy,
please
imagine-
show grace
Yeah.
and mercy toward her.
Imagine being unfaithful to her. Like,
Right?
dude, you gonna do better than that? Seriously?
He's saying he was unfaithful and this is all his fault, and he's a stand-up guy.
Very interesting.
They met when she worked at McDonald's at 16. He was 22.
Oh, boy.
She got pregnant.
Yikes.
Had her baby. Had her baby at 18, dropped out of high school her senior year, and had her baby. They have 4 children. They've recently announced, she's a grandmother. She's becoming a grandmother with their oldest son becoming a parent, getting married and becoming a parent.
Jesus.
She grew up in poverty, and as a Democrat, she said, grew up on welfare.
Wow.
And so she's somebody who, she by the way, was a pipe fitter, worked in the union. She's had a rough life.
Interesting.
And it explains a lot. But in any event, the husband, Jason Boebert, is saying her strengths were always used to cover my weaknesses throughout our 20 years together. She has been my rock, my
Wow.
best friend.
How about that? Classy approach by him.
Very classy.
Yeah.
Unlike her dingbat date, who was weak. So he's begging Republicans and her supporters because there's a powerful. She has to rerun for her job, which is up in 24, and so he's saying please support her and talking about it. So Jason Boebert is addressing the people of Colorado's 3rd District and across the nation about his ex, soon to be ex.
Yep.
I mean, it's a good story. It's a good story for her. But I don't know. I'm glad he's coming out, but you have to wonder why.
He's saying it was a devastating divorce, and one of the reasons she has a need, like basically the reason she has a need to feel like she's good looking or feel like somebody desires her, is because he cheated on her.
Oh. Okay.
And that is a thing.
Okay.
That every woman knows.
Okay.
Yeah. So, as a guy, you always look for those women who've been cheated on, and you try and make them your prime targets because they're the easiest pickings.
Stalker always giving the true motive here of men.
No, it's true. It's true. Daddy issues, all of that stuff.
You wonder why you get hate on the YouTube chat.
It's fine. I don't care.
It's a nice little story. Anyway. Number 3, because we've talked a lot about, I'll call this Dress Down Showdown. As we talked a lot this morning, Nick Kayal had featured for you news that it's official that because Pennsylvania's Senator John Fetterman, who's a Democrat, because of his apparent inability to wear a suit and abide by the dress code in the Senate, now they're lowering the standard of the dress code. Well, now Senator Susan Collins, who's a Republican from Maine, she joked last night, well, she's going to wear a bikini on the floor of the Senate following.
Who said that?
Senator Susan Collins.
Oh, boy.
Okay, so Susan Collins bikini.
Go ahead, DuckDuckGo.
Yeah, don't. You don't want to look at that.
Go ahead, Nick.
Nope. Don't.
Oh, Susan, no, we're gonna stay traditional here, Susan.
Yeah.
You are
Dress
not
your part, lady.
You are not the Bob.
I'm sorry, Nick. I set you up.
Susan Collins. She kind of looks like Randy Weingarten, to be honest.
Oh no, she
yeah,
doesn't.
and Randy had some thoughts on that.
It really pisses me off.
I agree.
But she and many others have said it debases the institution.
Yep.
They should not lower the standard. And then she came out after people were reacting to her, and she said, obviously I'm not going to wear a bikini.
Right.
But the fact is, I understand I could.
Yeah, and just a thought on this, too. I mean, between senators now allowed to wear hooded sweatshirts and that F-35 that went missing yesterday crashed, the government says, the government asked the American public, if you have any information or if you've seen the F-35, please let us know. Like it's a dog that ran away from somebody's apartment. We have never looked more lost as a nation.
Yeah.
Like if I'm in another country and I see John Fetterman in a sweatshirt and an F-35 go missing, I'm probably talking to my advisors and be like, hey, remember we wanted to do this to the United States? This might be the chance to do it. They look like they're in over their head right now over there. Just an observation.
Gary on the YouTube chat writes, how about Schumer in a bikini?
There you go.
Schumer or Susan? Who would you rather see in a bikini?
Oh, man, please.
Give me Susan for 100.
By the way, getting back to the women who've been cheated on for 1 second, you always knew when back in my single days that the girlfriends whose boyfriends cheated on them, you always knew that those girls were goers.
Yeah? Is that an observation you made as a pizza delivery guy?
Yeah.
Like on a Friday night, you knew the single girls that got cheated on were ordering pizza and you were there in 30 minutes or less? Good work out of you.
Just saying.
It's a
Dawn,
sin.
Dawn, you have any thoughts?
Dawn, you better keep your mouth closed.
No,
Thank you,
I'm going to say that if Jason, the soon-to-be ex, continues to speak out in this way, does he
get a second chance?
Well, that's what I'm wondering.
Yeah.
You know Gary Cobb?
Yeah, I love Gary.
You know Gary?
Yeah.
I remember when he was going through a divorce. He's spoken out about, we should have him on sometimes, when he ran for politics in South Jersey. But I remember G. Cobb talking about this, that they were going through a divorce. And then he said, so my wife and I were like thinking we're going to date some different people. And then I went on a date with another lady and I thought, oh no. And he begged his wife to go. They got back together. They literally got back together.
This is a lot of work.
He was like, oh, There are a lot of crazy people. This is crazy.
The hell was that?
Literally. So I don't know. Maybe, we'll follow that one. But G-Cobb, he's the best.
Yeah.
Hey, we are sponsored by the Bet Parks Pennsylvania Derby at Parks Racing. So it's Pennsylvania's biggest day of thoroughbred racing. The Bet Parks Pennsylvania Derby, Parks Racing, this Saturday, September 23rd. Gates opening, 10 o'clock in the morning. Free family fun, live music, so much to do. Visit PennHorseRacing.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Thank you, the Bet Parks Pennsylvania Derby at Parks Racing, for being our sponsor of the Big Three here at 9:30.
All right, thank you very much. Dawn, 9:40 Tuesday morning as we get to What's on the Cut Sheet, Part 2.
What's on the cut sheet?
Part 2. By the way, those big threes at 8 and 9, it just means any time in the 8 or 9 o'clock hour.
I said 9:30.
No, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, I know. But I'm just saying because everybody's like, get to the big. It's whenever we can get to it in the 8 and 9 segments.
Yeah, it's a floater.
What's on the cut sheet, Part 2? Sponsored by United Tire. We love our Philly sports teams just as much as they love us cheering them on. Same goes for the great team over at United Tire. The owners make customer satisfaction their priority, working with you to get back on the road faster. So when it comes to car service, trust United Tire. Thank you, United Tire, for sponsoring What's on the Cut Sheet Part 2. I can attest to United Tire. I have used them. They do fabulous work over there. The one in Willow Grove is the one I use. Did you guys see this? I'm sure you did. These hostages that were sent back, these American hostages that were sent back from Iran. We sent them $6 billion.
Yeah, apparently Zelensky's very ticked off. He's like, Joe, I thought that $6 billion was for me.
No, it's so
unfroze it.
Unfroze. These were their own assets, which we unfroze.
We unfroze them.
Yeah.
They're talking about the fact that it was done on 9/11, which is kind of a slap in the face. John Kirby yesterday said, the Pentagon spokesperson says, that the announcement on 9/11 had nothing to do with 9/11. It's just when the date fell.
Right.
Cut 3 here, Daniel.
Not tied to 9/11, not tied to the UN General Assembly, simply tied to the hard work over months and months and months by diplomats to secure this release.
Okay, so then just be somewhat aware of the date and think about it from a PR standpoint and just do it, announce it, whatever, on the 10th or the 12th. Don't do it on the 11th.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And oh, by the way, you talk about Trump and the art of the deal. I think it's safe to say that this looks like a bad deal from a PR standpoint. So we're going to swap this for that, and then, by the way, unfreeze $6 billion.
Yeah, art of the deal. Exactly to your point. We seem to care. We seem to take care of and pay for everybody else, whether it's Ukraine and that situation with no transparency, Iran, whoever. Just give all of our money.
Well, and as I mentioned when we talked about this story last week, also keep in mind the history and the precedent here of this administration with bad trades. We gave up a Russian arms dealer for a basketball player with the Brittany Griner story. This administration has had 2 bad trades now.
Yeah.
Now, if they were Howie Roseman, they'd be getting torched today on WIP.
Mike Pence gave a speech yesterday, a foreign policy speech at the Hudson Institute, talking about his war hawkishness. This dude loves war. He says that isolationism is just another word for appeasement. This has been in the neocon playbook for many, 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 many years. That if we don't act on them, they'll act on us. Keep us safe, America. Cut 7 here.
Some Republican candidates, including my former running mate, are abandoning the traditional conservative position of American leadership on the world stage and embracing a new and dangerous form of isolationism. I believe isolationism is just another word for appeasement. And let's be clear, appeasement will not make America any safer. In fact, appeasement would only make America and the world more dangerous.
The establishment in the swamp, they love their war because war is profitable. And that's another reason why they dislike Trump. You hear Dawn say it, peace and prosperity. He delivered on the economy, and we were not in conflict.
He's really banking on the fact that there's enough people in the Republican Party, because he's talking to a primary audience here, that wants once this ongoing war. Times have changed, man.
It's so odd that the Dems are like the side of like the conflict now, and Republicans are the ones like, no, we're just, And by the way, it doesn't make you weak. Like Joe Biden exudes weakness on the global stage. If anything, Trump's peace did not equal weakness.
Yeah.
Like I think a lot of nations were like, yeah, we're gonna get this ironed out because I don't want to bang with Trump.
And part of it was that he trusted the generals. And by the way, remember that we had such a crisis in the Middle East. Remember that? And then all of a sudden, the terrorists went away. We never heard about it. And nobody ever pointed it out, even in the media. But remember when that Moab happened with Trump, he was questioned and he said something to the effect of, I think he was honest in that moment, the generals, he trusted the generals, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he got rid of all those ridiculous JAG rules as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that was a part of Trump, that they knew he would trust those experts. And that's part of it.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to play one more, but we'll save it for tomorrow so we have a break.
Yes, coming up next, 5 minutes away from our 9:50 keyword, we will give you the keyword for your free trip to Disney World. The details and the keyword coming up next on Kayal and Company.
It was the day we all feared. The stock market went down and then kept going.
2008, when the markets lost over 50% of their value. But that was over a decade ago. Today, it's not so painful. Jim Cipriotti at Retire Ready Financial Group calls that financial amnesia. When you forget the pain of losing half your savings, and more importantly, ignore the fact that it can happen again. A complimentary consultation from Retire Ready Financial Group can show you where you stand now before the next market pullback. You're much closer to retirement than you were in 2008. Don't let it happen again. Call Jim Cipriotti at 610-894-7415 for a complimentary consultation. That's 610-894-7415 or online at retirereadyfg.com. You can forget where you put your keys, your glasses, or even your car. Don't forget to protect your retirement.
Investment advisory services offered through Retire Ready Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through James V. Cipriotti, NPN number 2083768.
Hi, this is Don Giordano. Are you concerned about your child struggling in school? Do they need more of a challenge? Now's the time to make the call to Kathy Ganna at New Hope Academy in Yardley and Doylestown. 800-300-0003. Let New Hope Academy transform your child's life forever by helping them now. For over 3 decades, New Hope Academy founder Kathy Ganna, a pioneering educator and entrepreneur who created the NHA model, has been utilizing state-of-the-art solutions to uncover ways where your child could avoid struggling and succeed. At New Hope Academy, there's a student-teacher ratio of 2-to-1, allowing for students to deal with many disorders, including high anxiety, social and emotional, and including bipolar. Do not wait. Remember, only the best teachers can work at NHA. Call for that no-obligation tour and consultation. 90% of NHA graduates pursue a college education. Call Kathy today, 800-300-0003. Online, newhopeacademy.net. Call New Hope Academy today, 800-300-0003.
When you need to know, depend on KYW News Radio 103.9 FM.
5 freed Iranian Americans are now in U.S. custody as part of a deal with Iran. Plans are being worked out to rebuild East Side High in Camden, and the Philadelphia Ballet is entering the 2023 fall season.
Get the latest anytime on KYW News Radio. Now on Crystal Clear 103.9 FM.
You've never needed us more.
At Cherry Hill Volvo, we are partnering again with our Costco members. Purchase a certified 2020, 21, or 22 XC40, XC60, or XC90 and receive an incredible additional discount up to $1,500 off. A discount added to the unbelievably already aggressive pricing at Cherry Hill Volvo. Join us for this special offer. Cherry Hill Volvo and Costco and you, perfect together.
Hi, this is Norman the Floorman from Norman Carpet. Hey, when I was a kid, we were so poor, my little brother broke his arm. We had to take him to the airport for an x-ray. No kidding, folks. If you're responsible for buying carpet for your company or organization, you need to call me now. I stock the largest selection of commercial carpet in the Delaware Valley. And yes, we can install within 48 hours. Call 800-220-RUGS. Call Norman the Floorman to save 50% off our competitor's best price. Now that's not chopped liver.
Hey, Paoli. We know your favorite station is Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
It's Kayal Company, 9:49 Tuesday morning. Coming up at 10 o'clock is the Dawn Show. We'll see what's on tap for Dawn in just a couple of moments, as well as who won Twitter today. But it's time for our daily keyword. We have done it each and every morning in September, and will continue to do so throughout the duration of the month. And this morning at 9:50, your keyword is EPIC, E-P-I-C. Yes. So take the keyword EPIC, go to 1210WPHT.com, enter it for your chance to win a free trip to Walt Disney World. And while you're there, buy some merchandise, folks.
Please.
Grab some cotton candy.
Be our marketing department.
That's correct. Get the apparel. We've got all sorts of Kayal Company merchandise, T-shirts, hooded sweatshirts, coffee mugs. You've got Dom apparel. You've got Zioli Army stuff. Dawn stuff will be there shortly. And, yeah, you can get all set for the holidays.
Maybe you can be wearing one and run into a woman who listens to Kayal Company who's been cheated on.
Right. And then you guys can fall in love. And
because you know that if she's been cheated on,
right,
she's a goer.
Right. And then maybe you guys value free speech together, and all sorts of other good stuff can happen. So we do. We bring people together on this show.
1210WPHT.com for the merch.
Exactly right. All right, the Dawn Show is coming up in just about 8 minutes' time, and we find out what Dawn has on tap for 10 o'clock this morning.
Yeah, so I'm debating as to whether or not we're going to take, if the UN, if they have these comments from Biden or Zelensky, we'll monitor that, as to what they're saying. Half the time, Biden's late anyway.
Yeah.
So I don't know if he's scheduled at 10 o'clock.
Right.
So, we'll wait for that one. We have great guests, great show, a ton developing. So I'll get into the Trump controversy. I'll get into what's happening locally. And also this move, as far as we learned, that Pennsylvania's primary date, our presidential primary date, is they still haven't decided on it, which is bizarre. So we'll get into Pennsylvania politics, national politics, so much coming up. It's all developing, although depending on all the breaking news, we may have to just take some of this stuff live, depending on what's being said.
Okay. I'm willing to go out on a limb here and say when Joe gets done with his speech, he does not know which way to go, left or right, as he exits the stage.
You can take that one. Hello. You can take that one to the bank.
Take that one to the bank.
A lot of times we'll just see, is he saying anything controversial? Is he getting booed by New Yorkers as he makes his way in?
Will he whisper and then start shouting randomly? It should be a heck of a show. So stay tuned for that. All right, 9:53 as we wrap it up on a Tuesday with Who Won Twitter today?
Who Won Twitter?
Who Won Twitter, sponsored by Malvern Retreat House. I'm going to give it to an exile in Jersey. And even though he is very critical of me, and I don't know if he 100% likes me, he is my favorite tweeter. An exile in Jersey says, Beetlejuice, I didn't know that they had already produced a play about former Mayor Lori Lightfoot. It's not right. It's not right.
Who's now teaching a class on how to destroy a city at Harvard.
Right. Look at she tying it all together. She means the Beetlejuice from the Howard Stern show.
That is correct. When she's not singing and dancing on TikTok.
Look at the two of them side by side, and you understand why. Malvern Retreat House. Visit Malvern Retreat House, the nation's largest Catholic retreat house. Oh, it's a sin that they're sponsoring such a hateful tweet. Located in Chester County, Malvern Retreat House. You should patronize the Malvern Retreat House just for the horrible tweet that they sponsored. Host men and women's retreats, couples retreats, spiritual direction, recovery retreats, and more. Retreat from the noise and hear God's voice at malvernretreat.com. That's malvernretreat.com.
All right, that'll do it for us here on this Tuesday morning. Stay tuned. The Dawn Show's coming up next. We're back tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. And as our favorite senator who has altered the wardrobe of history would say,
good night, everybody.
The Dunat Dental Group is excited to begin their third season as the official dentist of the Philadelphia Eagles. You can trust the team at Dunat Dental Group to provide the most advanced and compassionate care from Lehigh Valley to Center City. Dunat has a location near you that takes all major insurances. If it's time for your routine cleaning or you're considering dental implants or something in between, make the Dunat Dental Group your pick. Smile like the birds. Visit PhiladelphiaEaglesDentist.com.
I feel like I'm constantly cleaning hair off my bathroom floor. At least my Swiffer Sweeper makes it easy. Sweeper heavy-duty dry cloths have ultra-thick pads to trap and lock hairs, like a hair magnet. And when I'm finished cleaning up my hair, Sweeper takes care of his too. Now the hair is gone. All thanks to Swiffer. Try Swiffer Sweeper Heavy Duty Dry Cloths. I promise you'll love them or your money back. And also try Swiffer Sweeper Wet to make quick work of tough, sticky messes.
I'm Ed Bonner, and this is my wife, Lynn, and we have been members of Crash Proof Retirement since 2014.